I don't have you guys on stream. I'm going to be streaming my screen and my screen only, and everyone's going to see my face. So
Perfect. We'll turn my camera off then.
yeah, stop streaming. Starting soon. Oh, wrong one. Bam. Yep, I have a 5-minute timer.
Do we need like a
what's
doc?
funny?
Yeah, do we need docs for like writing stuff down?
You can have docs for writing stuff down, but I am going to give you guys most of the things that you guys will need. But I do suggest that you guys do get docs up. Also, there will be music in the background. Hold up.
So are you still using the... Oh. Never mind.
Hey, Regina.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, Rebel.
Hi, Coach.
Doing alright.
I'm very much excited for today.
Mark, Kitten, Noki, Theo, Spartan. How y'all doing?
We're doing
I'm
well,
doing
fantastic.
splendid.
Hi.
They will
My
flood
bad,
in.
Today.
They're flooding
I had a
in.
bomb, but
Had a what?
I had a session today. Kind of bombed, but
What do you mean bombed?
was very poor. One of the people who was playing with us is so new that it was super awkward to roleplay with him. So
Makes sense.
I know, want it to be better, but hopefully next week.
Also, we are streaming now, so if you want to check out the stream and kind of like sit in there, that would be kind of helpful. You can just mute the stream itself. That would fucking help.
Where is this? I don't see the stream.
I'm going to be posting it in channel.
Oh, you're streaming there. Okay, I thought you were streaming to Discord. So.
Oh no, I'm streaming at Noble. Oh, I'm streaming on Nerds in the Basement.
Okay.
Demon. Where's my fucking? Here it is. I sent it in no mic. There you go. I sent it in no mic for everyone can join in and try to sit in a little bit. Hello.
Where did you send it?
No mic channel.
No. Oh, no mic channel. Okay, I have that muted because I don't normally take part in it. So.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, I see it.
Yes, we have. So I'm gonna also direct everyone in the beginning of the class when everyone starts rolling in properly. I'm assuming that everyone's gonna be late at the beginning, so I'm not gonna start until I'm giving everybody the gate 15, like I usually do.
Of course.
So everyone's gonna be rolling in for like the first like 15 or so minutes, and then after that is when we'll get actually deep into the entire class itself. Plus, I have a little thing on top. No, Noki, why'd you do that? Why are you gay?
Little thing never hurt nobody.
Noki. Noki.
Why are you gay?
The number one.
Jeez, Regina, you can't just say why is somebody gay.
No, because I looked down on my computer. I looked down on my fucking phone because I have my phone here for chat, and it's like Noki subscribed, and I'm like, why? I don't get any of that money anyways. Not until I get like.
Yeah, but I know. I'm a streamer.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Noki, I don't care what Regina says, I still love you, okay?
No.
No.
No. I'm denying that.
What, are you saying the only person who does who deserves my love is you, Regina?
Oh my god, the sky is so blue, guys. Holy shit. The clouds.
Oh my gosh, guys.
The trees are green. That's so crazy.
The trees are green. The sky is blue. I am about to fill you with poo.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitch emote. Sorry, I've recently got into Genshin Impact, so.
I actually bought Elden Ring and I have not played it yet.
I want to buy Elden Ring, but it's too much money. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. I can agree on that.
I'm going to add everybody and saying stream starts in 15.
Play Elden Ring if you love getting stressed out, because Soulsborne games are difficult.
Yes.
I
don't
see a problem.
There are 12
I
people who play
exclusively play Elden Ring to calm down and relax after a long, hard day.
Yeah, I do that.
I just want to kill things. I just want to kill things, and I've also seen so many clips of people who are 100% more skilled than me doing stuff. So
I wholeheartedly believe that Sekiro is the easiest Soulsborne game.
Oh, Sekiro? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight is best thing ever.
Hollow Knight? I've heard of it.
Oh, yeah, Hollow Knight's great.
It's
but
wonderful.
Have you guys subscribed to Daily Silksong News?
Daily Silk News?
No.
It's it's a YouTube channel dedicated to keeping people informed on the news on the
I wonder.
Hollow Knight sequel. It has existed for like 2 days, and it has existed for like 2 years, and there has never been news.
Always gotta check it first.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, the Hollow Knight team has not said anything about Silksong in 2 years, and still Daily Silksong News exists, and it's wonderful. It's like every single day a 7-second
like
video.
LOL
And
dead
today's Silksong News. There is no Silksong News. No, it's not a dead channel. That's the most beautiful thing. Like, thousands of people flock in every single day to hear about nothing. It's the most incredible thing.
People will do anything with their attention except be productive, and I know that myself.
Oi.
Alright.
I'm pretty productive.
Okay, that is absolutely
Yeah,
fair.
I
I have a
would-
comic that I've been putting off the last 2 weeks and have just started writing in the last few days. The person is understanding thanks to, mental crash.
I get
But
that.
still, that is, oh, I missed it. Like, oh, I have failed thee.
I have ADHD.
So that's how I'm.
Crippling depression.
That's how I was able to plan this and like. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'll let that be the grand reveal and tell you how long I took to plan this, and I'll give you all that information at the end of the 12 weeks.
Okay, yeah,
was the
2
answer
hours
2
ago.
days, Regina?
It was
2
not
hours
too.
ago, they posted-
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it was not 2 hours ago. I've been planning this shit for a long ass time.
Oh,
Was
no,
it
no,
2
no. I
days?
was
No,
talking
no, no.
about
You
Silksong
just
News.
decided to make all of this up in 2 hours, and we're gonna praise you for that.
Who knows? Welcome,
Regina-
one and all. Hi,
Regina
everyone.
has
Hear me?
been-
Were y'all just not talking?
Regina has spent 4 months.
Regina,
on this.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Sterling. I can definitely hear you.
Okay. It's so hard to tell.
I understand.
I cannot see Rebel's profile picture at all because of his red background.
Deal with it.
It's perfect. It's absolutely amazing. It's just the D&D symbol, but it's fucking hilarious.
I know. I can see like the faintest of black lines. I do love Glass's profile picture though.
Mhm.
And then you, Reganavir, have a fountain. That's the same one that you've had for a very long time.
Yes, I've had this one since I started, whatchamacallit. It's fucking hilarious. By the way, hi everyone who's in stream. Welcome one and all. I like the everything muting thing, so if everyone can mute, that'd be actually helpful, and I can explain a little bit what this is.
Sure.
I'm gonna start now, because I have enough people here, and so it's enough. 3 minutes is perfectly fine. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Worldbuilding Wednesdays! Ah, I'm excited! You guys can give me cheers, at least. I need something to fill the... Thank you.
Everybody mute. Everybody applaud.
Yeah, everybody, can we have enthusiasm happen in chat, please and thanks, so my ears don't get blown out? Appreciate you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you can put it in chat because we also have the stream is inside of no mic, and so everyone can see it. Oops, sorry. Thank you. Yes. This is going to be the start of a 12-week program that I'm putting on, and this lovely program is just to help out everyone who wants to get into world building and be a DM or write a book and trying to build a fantasy world. But we're looking through the eyes of Dungeons and Dragons, so it's easier to convert to Dungeons and Dragons. And I put on something for you guys, as well as I do all want you to get out a Google document or a piece of paper or something like that, because at the end of my little presentation, you will be able to see what is going on. Now, I don't think I can share screen, so you guys will have to go into my stream. I know, sad. But you will have to go into my stream to look at the, what is it called? The Google slide. And if you have any questions, just unmute and ask me. I'm perfectly okay with questions. Can everyone...
Regina, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
There is a question I have. How do we raise our hand or do something of that sort?
Just unmute and ask. I don't
Okay.
mind you raising your hand. There's no way to raise your hand here. But can everyone on stream see the presentation? It should say Worldbuilding Wednesdays, and it should have my first and last name.
So it is your actual last name.
Yeah, I'm in Easington. Yeah, I know, crazy. It's weird.
It's very easy.
Ugh.
Of the
Very
New
laggy
England
for
easy?
me.
It's laggy? Who's lagging? It's laggy.
Yeah,
There
so
will
the
always
stream
be
does
lag
have
between-
quite a
yeah.
delay.
Oh, yes,
There
the
will-
cool...
that happens. That's normal, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Twitch
normal
will have a
thing to
delay.
happen.
That's typical. We won't get things synced up as fast as Discord
Yeah.
does. It's quick up.
It just means that when you switch the slide, at least for me, there's going to be like a 5 to 10 second delay before we see it.
Yeah, it's like a 10-second delay, but I will wait like the 10 seconds so that you guys can look at it. Make sense?
Got it.
Yeah. Or do you guys want me to share the link and so that you can view it in no mic?
I think that would be easier.
All right.
Yeah,
If we
we
do
handed
that,
out both
that
options.
means it'll be easy. That means it'll be easier to follow along. You can look forwards and
Yeah.
do that sort of thing. So yeah, that could be cool.
All right. If everyone looks in no mic, bam. There you go.
Hey, Regina,
Woohoo! I see it.
can I say my favorite German phrase just to tick Noki off?
Is it a curse
No.
word?
It is.
No.
Okay. It wouldn't be a curse word with you. So yeah, go ahead.
Ich muss darben.
Hey!
Awesome. Let's get back on
Hey.
track. Delightful. Delightful. Love it so much. Let's get back on track. Let's get right back on track.
What? How did we get there? How did we? I don't. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start it because I don't know what the fuck happened.
I have the folder up. I have the slideshow up. I have a doc beside it on my second screen. I think I'm ready.
Everyone's good? You can give me a collective yes, or either out loud or in chat.
Out loud.
Let's go.
All right. Welcome everyone to Worldbuilding Wednesdays, and you should be able to see when I turn to the next screen. I'll say that I went to the next screen. So yes, introduction. Worldbuilding Wednesdays is going to be a 12 episode, but in real time 12-week class that will be detailing how to make out a fully fleshed out world in the scope of D&D, of course. And I'm going to the next slide. So to start off everything, what exactly is world building? Well, world building is a process of constructing your fictional worlds or universe and given in a story context. And sometimes the world is exactly like our own, except for one key difference. And sometimes the world can look nothing like our reality. For example, Harry Potter. Even though it is slightly like our world, obviously there are multiple key differences as to how it's not the same as our own world. Now, for this particular course, we are going to be talking about 6 parts of world building. We're going to talk about the landscape, the cultures, the race and languages, which are going to be together, politics and religion, which will also be together, magic and/or technology, and history of the world. And I'll go into detail in the next slides about how each parts will be talked about. And to go back to magic and technology, since we're using D&D as a way to show off how to build a world, obviously magic and technology is already kind of handled in D&D, but I still am going to at least hopefully expect you guys to change some stuff up a bit, because I know, like, for example, if you want to make like clerics be similar to wizards as as if they both learn how to become that certain thing, and then go from there.
About technology in a Dungeons and Dragons setting, we understand that Dungeons and Dragons is mostly set in a European style fantasy realm of knights, armor, and that sort of thing. However, there's also official rules of artificers and firearms and that sort of thing. So, when in terms of those, it's gonna be we're gonna have to keep an open mind of like, okay, what would happen if this one person is smart enough to make a firearm, and how is that going to affect the entirety of the society of which he lives in?
Absolutely. That's the type of aspect that I want to go towards. I don't want it to just be, oh yeah, D&D already has this stuff. Here's how it is in D&D. No, what if you gave a Glock to somebody in like the 1200s? What would they do, and how would society move on from the time period? And I kind of want you guys to do it, not exactly answering that question, but in a similar format, just to help out everyone else, of course. Now,
keeping that in mind is going to make your world a lot more fleshed out.
Yes, exactly. Now, for land and landscape, the questions that we're going to be answering is how do we want the world to be shaped and formed? Where do cities, towns, and villages and other landmarks, where are those landmarks in your world? How would different societies evolve due to those landscapes? And what are important city imports and exports due to their locations? And for this course only, I'm going to expect, and I'm saying this to everybody in call, I expect you guys to do at least 6 countries in your world, because we're going to be doing a full continent. I expect 6 countries at least, but I do suggest 8. I'm a person that likes to do at least 8 or 7, so at least 8 would be a nice sweet spot. Not too much and not too little, but it's still enough where you can show that there's a difference between everything. Now, culture. This one has a little bit less, but talks about a lot more. In general, culture is an overview of everything and every aspect of what goes into your world. It's land and culture. And when it comes to talking about culture, in this course, we're going to be talking about how culture as a whole affects your world. So the aspects of culture, we're going to be talking and using immensely the culture wheel. And I will later, and when we get to those times, we'll show you exactly what the culture wheel is. We'll talk about the type of societies that there are. Yes.
Question about culture, especially in a D&D setting and in real life as well. Culture tends to be restricted to specific lands as well. Like, you would have a specific culture that resides only in a hot environment, or in a cold environment, or in stuff like that. What's going to happen when those people are mixed around? We have the country of America and Canada are both sort of multicultural lands. What's changing? How is it going to work out if we really are going to make 6 to 8 different countries that each have their own culture? What's going to happen with trade and that sort of thing? So, yeah.
What exactly was the question?
I started rambling. I did have a question, but I can't remember it now.
Okay, no, because culture is going to be talked about. We're going to be talking about culture in the aspect of 2 separate things. Okay, what's your question?
I do remember. What is the difference between a culture from a people and a culture from a land? Just as sort of ask the class this.
Wow, interesting question. I don't actually think that there isn't like a sociological difference between a geological based culture and a societal based culture. Those are completely just based on human understandings of what culture.
I was going to say they go
in a D&D setting where there are different races, though. Like, we got satyrs, we got orcs, we got a bunch of different types of species in that regard.
Can we go over this point when we get to Culture Day? Because this is a great question for Culture Day.
You better keep that in your notes. You better keep that in your notes.
Write that down right now.
That's great, but
because
should we move on and keep on track so we don't get distracted? That's a great question, but
Spartan, please give me that question actually, so I can get more information to talk about that in the class.
I have a boring but technical question as well.
What's up?
Sorry to pipe in.
No, go ahead.
Hi, Regina. First,
Hi.
First-time caller, long-time listener. So how would you say also that deities affect the spread of culture? Would you say because in at least in a fair amount of D&D settings, uh, gods do realistically exist and are in many settings literally immonstrable. So can
Regina,
1 second.
how would you would deity
I'd research
would
this.
you say, at least from your perspective and preferences, that deities do or don't directly transplant, affect, etc. culture?
Well, that's
That
the thing. That's actually what I was going to get into in the next one. I think that's actually the next slide when it talk. No, sorry. There's 2 slides down. A religion is another aspect of culture. When we'll look during Culture Week at the actual culture wheel and sort of dissecting what the culture wheel is, as well as I will be giving you guys readings, which I will mention towards the end of the this as well, because you guys might hate that I say you will have to read articles. I know you guys will not like me because of it, but guess what? It will help you, and I promise it will.
You'll be fine.
But
We'll be
that, but especially religion and deities, absolutely they affect culture, and they'll affect the type of societies as well. And you'll see when we go over over the type of societies and over urbanization, and again overall the aspects of culture, you'll see how those things affect how culture is everything that we talk about. So when we're talking about like race and languages, when we're talking about religions and politics and everything else, even magic and technology, because magic in D&D settings are is it interwoven? Yes, are interwoven with religions, because you can be a paladin or you can be a cleric. So you'll see how everything it's literally after we're done making the landscape, it'll be, hey, we're dealing with culture and culture only. But it's going to be underneath different names, so it's easier to digest for people. Does that make sense?
Hey, Regina.
Yes.
Yes.
I kind of. Do you mind if I answer that a little bit in a more direct way? Because I actually have a lot of research on this. Because it's my.
I love that you have so much research, but like I know Regina's running it, but can we do that on the day that it is for? We have a lesson today. We have an outline to get through. We gotta keep moving.
Exactly.
Sure.
I do want to hear that information, and I also, if you have been researching that, please send me that research so I can also add it into the curriculum later on, because I'm still also writing other parts of the curriculum as we're going along.
Oh, sure, yeah. If you need help, because I have to do a lot of this stuff for theses and what have
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Please send that my way. Absolutely.
You got it, boss.
Yes. So the next part that we're talking about, as I mentioned earlier, is races and language. Now, these are going to be the more technical ones, and we're going to have a day for each, a section/week for each of the 2 areas. So, races. I'm only looking at the 9 main races. Oh, I think it's 9. Yes, the 9 main races of D&D. So that means human, half-elf, half-orc, tiefling, elf, orc, and there's 2 others that I can't think of right now. I feel bad.
Dwarf.
Yeah, dwarf and halfling. So, like, only those... Did I say gnomes? Did I forget gnomes?
I think you said a halfling twice and gnomes once.
Yeah,
No!
you got our little magical gnomes.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
don't
like
worry,
all of those things, but I want you guys to pick 3 races or make 3 extra races that are
All
that are
under 6 that are
particular.
forgettable anyways.
Yeah, that are particular to your world. And we're going to be talking about like ability score increases, ages, sizes, speeds, languages, and also adding like one special trait, like how you have keen sense for elves. Now for language, there's over 30 languages in D&D. So what we're going to be doing actually is we're going to be making 3 languages. I might cut it down to 2 or just 1, but I do want you guys to have one as like a tester language, and then the second one is like refining what you learned. Because
One quick question: Are we doing? Sorry, are we
No, you're
doing
fine.
the Tolkien style of creating an entire language, or are we just going to be saying basically, okay, because these guys live underground and you can't really make noise, here's a language that has been changed or adapted?
Define the Tolkien method. What
the
do you
token
mean?
method is literally creating an entire alphabet as well as a
Yes.
structure, and we're doing that.
I'm going to walk you through. So, one of the main things for language that I'm going to teach you guys about is the history of writing. And the history of, like, because, humans have always talked forever. But the history of writing in particular is going to be what we're going to mostly dive into. Because the history of writing is very interesting, as
Does
well
that
as.
mean we are going to learn about the differences between letters and symbols then?
Yes.
Or are we okay, we're
You-
getting
you
that
are-
deep.
I'm-
I'm excited.
Yes. When I say language, I mean that we're going to. So that's why I'm giving you guys a chance of either doing a written language or a actual spoken language. I have resources for both of those things. I have two particular links that I like using for written languages, and also two particular links that I found for spoken languages that get you down to phonetics and how you speak and linguistics and all that goodness. For the next part, politics and religion, we are going to be looking at political systems and looking particularly at two political triangles that discuss how political systems work in our world so that we can make it into the fantasy world. And for religions, we're going to be looking at the ideas of deism versus theism. And I'm not going to explain that now, but I'm going to explain that later, as well as the real life, and also looking at real life religions and how we can use them in our fantasy, with our fantasy religions. Everyone good? Okay. So, magic and or technology. What would your world have? More technology or more magic? And that I have my own high horse soapbox thing that I like talking about when it comes to that stuff. But in research, you're going to realize that maybe everything that I say on my soapbox isn't always the correct thing. And you will realize that, like, why certain things became certain ways, if that makes sense. I actually found a few books that were specifically about how inventions came about in like the 16th, 17th, 18th century, and we're going to be looking at those. There are a lot, I think this is the second to last, but yeah. And then the last one is history of the world.
A quick question about the magic and technology.
Yep, sorry.
In terms of high fantasy magic or low fantasy magic and that sort of thing, if you know what those terms are, where does D&D sit on it?
D&D stretches across the entire spec of nuts and bolts versus trees and things. It's all
Okay,
of it.
because because I remember
It
hearing
depends on like if you're running Starfinder, if you're running 5th edition, running 1st edition, whatever it is, it's all of it.
Yeah, because I remember I play 5th edition, and I remember like, oh yeah, cantrips are basically something that anybody could learn. They're the lowest level. Many of them can do a lot of different things. Like a commoner could technically learn prestidigitation.
Also, thank you I think it's AK555 for raiding with the party of 5 members, and the 5 people who came, welcome to the party. I am running a world building class on Twitch, and I will be posting the VOD on YouTube, and we're just going over what exactly the class is going to entail over the next few weeks. So welcome everyone who just came in.
So, magic and technology, moving on.
Yes, from magic technology, we're going to be talking about the history of the world. Now, this one is going to be a sort of day of like a going over everything day, because after literally the week after will be like graduation day for you guys. So, but I do also want this. I want you all to make a group, a person, or a society that is dedicated to recording and sharing history and sharing the world lore in your world. That is important, at least to me, because yeah, you have historians in our world who spread the world lore, but you can have a group, like, for example, wait, can I say anything? Never mind, I can't give that spoilers, because there are people in this campaign that are there are people in this call that are in my campaign, so I can't say anything.
Of course.
That's crazy. I would give an example, guys, but I can't. But yeah, like, make like a group, or like or even a single person, like, I don't know, like a Merlin type of person that has all of the information in your world, and see how that affects the society as a whole. And maybe you add things, maybe you subtract things, maybe you multiply or divide things, anything of the sorts.
What I love to do in my worlds is how much do the inhabitants know versus how much there actually is. Because you could have your Merlin character show up and be like, "Oh yeah, this is absolute truth. The gods are immortal, untouchable beings." While in reality, it's like, nah, the gods just sort of gods are literally fueled by worship, and then those that are forgotten die in that regard.
But that's
Like,
exactly the point that I want. Yeah, that's what I want.
That sort of line is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the type of thing that I kind of want, is because if you have one group, or you can even make it where it's not just one. I said make A. Just because I said make A does not mean you can only make one. You can have it where multiple people are pushing multiple different narratives. That's how historians are. As a U.S. history major, I can definitively tell you, yes, I have on the floor of my like kitchen right now a history book that is a extremely horrible history book that it pushes a narrative, and you can have it where that's mostly what happens. There's many few people. There's not many few. That was an oxymoron. There is very few people. There we go. That in the world that would actually push their own narrative. But that's me getting on a soapbox, and I don't want to get on that soapbox right now. I'll get on the soapbox later. All right. Everyone, please look in the stream. I'm on the templates for course. If you would like to look at this QR code, there is this. It is in view mode only. Please make a copy of this. I made you guys a lovely little present, a world template. And while that's happening, I can look around. I would have to say, and ask, how do you make historical bias? How would you make historical bias? Oh!
We already got that question answered. We got that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we just want to answer questions quickly so we can keep you teaching.
Cal is so excited too. Okay.
No, I love you. I just want to make sure we stay on track.
I know.
Because we have a limited time, and we have 12 of these sessions to do.
We do. Yes, indeed we do. Did everyone, Troy, can you please send me that question and put that again in the server in general channel, and I'll just take all the questions that were asked and put them underneath sections in my overall document for the class, and then I'll answer those questions when it comes up to the being a thing. And I can answer them then as well. If everybody either clicked on the link or got the thing, I will move on. I'm gonna drink water. All right, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna actually, because we are here, I'm going to go on to, I don't think I have it open. That's my fault completely. All right. So, this, my lovely friends and individuals, is the world master document that I've made for you guys. Just to kind of give you all like a quick overview of what the world document looks like. You will put your maps in here when you make them, and then after you put the maps in there, you are going to then put a list of your countries here, talk about the main races here, what are the main religions, if you have any main religions here, and the population, if you want to make a population. You could make up a random number, and that's perfectly fine. If you have, like, a sum of, like, let's say you want to have your world be populated by, like, 13 million people, and then you just go from there.
How do we make a copy of this again? Because I have it.
Go to File. You should be able to click on File, and it should be able to say Make a Copy.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. Either make a copy or download. And when everyone has a copy of it, I can. I'm just gonna go through it anyways. On the culture tab, there is just going to be. By the way, everything that I have here, the little area that's called Caneth and other stuff that's already filled out, that was just for me to test it out. So you can remove all of that. If you like Exertia as a name for a settlement, go right ahead and have it. I don't care. It was just a thing that I made. So you have here in cultures, you have the name of the settlement, the type of settlement that it is, the country that it belongs to, and the type of society that it is, and a sort of little mini blurb description that we're going to do like at least a sentence for all of your little settlement areas that you have. And before anyone says, yes, everything in here is for every line. I put up to 50 lines, but you guys don't have to use all 50. It was just there to show you how to like start off. And we're going to go, and this kind of gives you like a sort of sneak peek as to what exactly is there. Also, everything that has a little drop down arrow on it is already connected to a section. So for example, for countries, I know none of you guys are going to make like 20 countries. I already know that. If you do, congrats. If you don't, if you do make 20 countries and you need help expanding what's on here, tell me in DMs or tell me in a ticket on the server, and I will help you guys with how to fix everything so that it stays lined up. For new races, I already kind of made something here for you guys. I made like, I think 6 slots for you all so that you can already make your like homebrew races just like as a way to just categorize them, not so much to make it fully fleshed out, and made a description area for you to also be able to type in there as well. For politics and religion, again, same things. We'll go into type of governments. We'll go into how the main religion is. We'll talk about how what the religion's capital is, and talk about the type of religions as well. We'll go into detail about what those type of religions are underneath the drop down arrows in the type of religions, and we'll also talk about how you should describe your religions in any way. Magic and technology, again, this is more self-explanatory. It'll tells you like what type of classes, because we are again using Dungeons and Dragons as the main focus of this, so you can figure out the type of classes that would come from your country. Let's say you have a country that has a big what do you call it? A big wizarding school. Like, for example, for my world of Morsobiltis, Froya is the area of the elves, but also the area of a lot of wizards. So that would be an area that people would go and study to become a wizard. So you can say that a main class in that area is a wizards and sorcerers, because they would probably go to school to hone on their magic better. And does your character, does this country have magic? It can be yes or no, and you can also give explanations as well in there. For the history of the world, again, this is more so just a timeline. This isn't really... Didn't I have... I skipped over something. I'm sorry, that was my fault. But yeah, history of the world is just more like a timeline and stuff like that. I realized I skipped over races and languages. That was my fault completely. Races, for the races, you have already the first 9 in here. Already set and done. Population of races. Please remove these. These were just here so that I could see how it looked on the graph, the pie chart, because I made you guys be able to have them where it's pie charts. So yay. And that took a long time. But yeah, so that's the world document for you guys. You don't have to use this. I think I even put this in here. Yeah, you do not have to use this at all. You don't have to use this, but if you don't know how to do this on your own, it's for you to use. So yeah. Now for the next part, the readings. Again, as I said, I'm sorry. I know that you guys don't like reading in the summertime, but I promise you, this book is amazing. I've poked my nose into this book on multiple occasions, and there are some really good resources in here, and that's why I was like, this is the book for the course. So we will be using the Cobalt's Guide to World Building. Has anybody actually looked at this book before? Has anybody actually looked at this book before? You can say yes in the in down here
I
either.
literally opened it up, saw the first page, and was like, I assume we're gonna work out of it, so I'm gonna try reading it right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I took a look at the first page and I've just been reading it for the past 10 minutes.
No, yeah, you can go ahead if you want to go ahead and spoil yourself. Go right ahead and read it. But I did pick out 6 articles for us to read over and digest. And how it's gonna work and how I've planned it out in my head. How this will work is that we will look at a section. We will have the first week, like this week is the first week. Then we'll have a thing at the end of it that says, okay, what we are reading first is for example, today we're going to be reading after today we're going to be reading page 40, or in the PDF it's page 41. And then we're going to read that entire article through. That one's I think 4 pages. And if anybody doesn't want to look through the PDF for some reason, I can send you a PDF of only that section. So it'll be easier for you guys to, instead of having to scroll through it, I guess, whatever you want. And we'll just talk about that section at the beginning of next week, and talk about exactly what you guys got from that article, and then after reading that section, we'll go into the actual things at hand. So, for example, for politics and religion, the first one we're doing over is politics, and then the next week would be religion. So 70 is going to be a mixture of politics and religion, but leans more on religion. Does that make sense to everybody?
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I was sort of typing down stuff.
No, you're good.
Or
No, you're fine. Essentially,
religion and politics are gonna be 2-day courses, right?
yes. So things that you say, and we're talking about each of them. So how I said it on the little thing I sent out to you guys. Every topic is covered for 2 separate weeks. But, for example, for politics and religion, politics is first, religion is second. For races and languages, race is first, language is second. For magic and technology, magic is first, technology is second. But for magic and or technology is going to be a mixture of the two, but we'll lean heavy on one the first day and lean heavy on the second day.
Hey, Regina, I got a quick question about that.
Yeah, what's up?
So you said about government and religion.
Yes.
What was the order again?
It's going to be politics first, then religion.
All right. What is the case in the event of stateholatry, which is the worship of one state or nation?
We are going to talk about all of that then.
All right.
Because we have all of that in there. Yes.
Nice.
And if you guys need a link to the book, I have put it in the Worldbuilding Wednesdays resources channel, as well as it is a hyperlink in the actual presentation itself. Good? Good. All right. This would be the questions, comments, and concern area. So, questions, comments, and concern to anybody?
How long are these classes
We gonna
again?
have to write?
There are,
One at a time.
Okay.
So
I
how long is
asked-
the course gonna be?
how long
And
is the
next
course?
question after that is gonna be.
Well, each day.
We'll get
How
to
long
that.
is each day?
3 hours.
3 hours.
And if you have to leave early, you can leave early.
And second question was, are
Are
we
we-
gonna be required to do writing?
Yes.
Oh, that answers my question. I was gonna ask if we're gonna have homework out of class.
God, no. If that's what you mean, no.
Oh no.
If you're going to have to write, yes, you are going to have to at least type up the name of your country and what your country's about. I'm not going to just tell you, because at least for me, for my worlds, all of my world's lore is in my head. But if you had to ask me, hey, write a paragraph about what Freya is about, I can write a paragraph about what Freya is about. So you need to be able to write a paragraph about each country.
Regina, real quick, what's going to be the Actually, let me phrase this better in my head. Give me a second. Sorry.
All right, no, you're good. As for the very last final day, which I will actually get to talk about, not in exercise 1 yet, but all of you guys are going to be able to, you all will not be required to, but I would like for you guys to present your worlds at the end of all of this. Because it's not going to be just for me, it's going to be for you guys to see how much you guys could, if, in general, is this successful? If this is successful, look at how many other people have made their worlds.
Public speaking.
If you don't, you do not have to if you do not want to. But I will, along with you guys. Don't just think it's just going to be you guys doing all the work and I'm going to be sitting back and doing nothing. I am making a world with you. I'm going through it all with you. Every single thing I'm doing with you. Down to making a landscape, from making a landscape all the way up to making a religion in my world.
There was a question that I want to highlight earlier. The Cobalt handbook being the primary reading for the class, are students encouraged to bring other sources to class?
Yes.
Or use other sources in the creation of their world book?
Yes, they are.
Good.
I have other resources for people as well, if you can't find them. Like, for example, we had, which I know that some people are going to be doing because of the new Spelljammer thing that is coming out soon. That was weird.
I have
but
a
the new
concern.
yes.
Sorry.
Oh, let me finish the statement and then I got you.
Yeah.
Hate you. Chris Foster. One thing that I will say will be like, for example, people wanted to do Spelljammer because I know Spelljammer is coming out very soon, 5th edition. That's coming out in, I think, August. I did find some resources for how to build galaxy maps, and even used the, I found a link from the Incarnate group, and they did a Twitch stream a while ago. I think, like, not even a while ago, like 2-3 weeks ago, about how to make a map like that, and I even posted that as well. So you all will be getting a bunch of resources of how to actually not just make, oh, look, random basic world map. You're going to get both sides. We're going to be talking about both sides of it. It's not going to just be all the way in the past in 1200 something, and for some reason there's no toilet paper. It's going to be both. It's going to be both sides. And somebody had a concern? What was your concern?
Yes. I see a lot of people being very enthusiastic about the work we're gonna have to do, like making all these things. I struggle with being creative.
All right.
That is a concern. I'm looking at, we're gonna have to make a conlang and
that's okay.
countries and
That's
stuff,
totally
and
okay.
it's
like everyone's got a different level of like input to output, and like you don't have to put your like we're not going to ask you as a fish to climb a tree.
Yeah.
Like, we want you to get out of this whatever you want to put into it. If there are certain tools that make your life easier or make you feel more creative, use those. Like for Regina, she loves Excel. She'll use Excel a lot. I don't like Excel, but I admire all the things that she knows about Excel, and that helps her run her games better. It doesn't help me. It gets me bogged down. So use what tools you have available to you. You're not going to get a grade on this. Like
I'm not grading anybody on this
here. So like, don't worry about producing a certain amount of content.
Absolutely.
That's a relief, but I was actually hoping that this class would help me with that.
Oh, absolutely. If you want, it's a thing. Yeah, I was gonna say, like Callum just said, it might. If you want to get it where you want to come up with ideas, this is going to be the space where we are passing through ideas as well as learning. Because we're going to be sitting sometimes in call together. Like, for example, next week when we're talking about landscapes and how we want to build our worlds, I'm going to be showing people how to build those worlds. And then from there, we're going to be talking about, like, what do you want? Do you want, like, an island? I'm not going to say, is it, okay, Cal, I need your help. Is it archipelago? Please tell me it is.
No.
Is it archipelago?
A continent? I don't know what you're trying to describe yet, so I can't confirm or
No,
deny for you.
it's like, it's
archipelago.
Okay, thank you.
Archipelago.
Archipelago, thank you.
Archipelago, yeah,
Make
a
bunch of
cluster of
in a
islands.
string. Yes, you can do that.
I can't say anything. I don't like that word. I was taught one way and they told me it was wrong. But yeah, we're gonna make things like that, and you're gonna hear talk about why people are choosing that. Why do people choose to have a ton of mountains? Why is there one island that has like a big ass volcano on it, and people are like flocking to that area to do something? You're going to hear a bunch of those things get thrown out by other people, and those can also help you with the creative process. You say, what do you think? Okay, let me rephrase this. What do you mean by you have a lack of creative flow? Or not exactly that, but what do you mean?
I said I struggle to be
Yes.
creative. So
Why do you
I've
struggle?
DM'd in the past, I've done world building in the past, but most of the time, my worlds turn out to be. I'm very good at developing ideas, but not very good at coming up with them. So like people already have like, oh, they have ideas for the 6 countries, the 19 like cultures or whatever I can see in the chat. I got nothing, right? Things don't like pop into my head. When they do, it's few and far between. I kind of just burn through inspiration.
Then what
But whenever I do come up with something, I develop it to like a super point, basically. So my walls look like pinpricks of like barren, empty patches with pinpricks of hyper developed areas, basically.
Okay. How about this? Because you said that, and can you text me? Can you DM me on Discord specifically to add in sort of prompts for you guys to add into your worlds?
Okay.
And I can make something up for that.
Right now?
Yes. DM me right now. Yes. DM me right now for that, absolutely. Yeah.
Regina, I just want to double check with you on this one. I've got a question in the chat that's asking about tailoring adventures for specific classes, and the way that I answered that was just want to confirm with you, make sure this is within your vision. For the class, there are supplementary guides that will help you build out your concepts for and how to engage particular players based on their class, but that's not really what this class is about. This class is about building the world, not and not the story itself to run the game.
Yes.
It's really a separate subject.
Yes.
If you want resources that teach you how to engage with your players based on their class, there are 2 books that I recommend, either one being Xenothar's Guide by Wizards of the Coast, or read chapters 1 through 5 of Powered by the Apocalypse Masks, because it talks about each playbook about how you should engage with those kinds of player types differently based on what's important to them as a player.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Once again, I'll type that in both chats. Powered by the Apocalypse Masks.
Yes. Because we are going to talk about in this class on how to make. There are different approaches to how you can make a story. And I'm gonna even mention this. I think I'm gonna even mention this today, and I'll look at my own little notes that I have. But there is different ways on building a world. For example, I have made multiple worlds where it's just based off of, hey, I want my players to go from A to B, and then I built a story from there. Or, hey, I'm going to plan out one level and then go on from there. I've also done that as well. Or just a separately, not D&D wise, but as a book itself, I am writing, or at least attempting to writing when I have the chance or the motivation to write, a story that is based in an alternate dimension of like the Victorian era. And going from there, I base that world off of one character, Sage something, and I made her grow from there. And I made her grow, and the world grow, and everything around it was based off of that one character. So yes, there are multiple approaches to world building as a whole. And I even think in the Worldbuilding Wednesdays resources channel by, I hate to say his name wrong, but Keotin Writer is a recent person that I've met on a different server that has an amazing website full of world building tips. And I'm even going to use some of the world building tips in this class, and even today, talking about those world building aspects with everyone as a whole. I hope that answers a bit more. Yes, I'm gonna move on.
I'm coming up behind you, touching base on questions, and if I can't
Oh,
answer
yeah,
something,
okay.
I'm throwing it at you. So just carry on.
Okay. Now, everyone. Oh, okay. Everyone, get out a Word document or a piece of paper and pencil, right now. And I am going to get a lovely, disgusting 5-minute timer.
Why is it disgusting?
Because I don't like the Google ones. I want a better one. I might find a better one next time. Restart. Stop.
Get one of those really pretty ones in like the dollar stores and stuff.
Yep. Oh my god. Stop.
Are you gonna get an egg timer?
Maybe. You know what? Who knows?
Those are actually the best.
I might get an egg timer. But no, I want everyone to get out their things. And you know what? I'm going to do this along with you guys. Yes. I'm going to get out with you guys. Google Docs. I'm gonna wait a little bit to let you all get out some stuff. I cannot spell. Don't look at me. I'm hideous. I can't spell.
I will judge your spelling.
No,
Judged.
please.
Judged.
I have editors for this. I don't spell. I'm not supposed to spell. That's not my job.
You're a writer. It is always our job to spell. However,
You have editors for that. Let's be honest. We have editors.
That is
for
absolutely fair, and we also have map makers as well, but you're still making us draw a map.
We've also got Grammarly and the hot people in those commercials.
I have been put on blast. I'm gonna cry. No. So, everyone get out your lovely Word document, and we're going to do a little 5-minute thing. And actually, okay, I'll ask you now, before I look back on the website, on my, on the, presentation, do you guys want 5 minutes or 6 minutes?
I was writing down my stuff while everybody was doing questions.
We're here for another 2 hours. Let's do 10. We're here for 2 more hours. Let's do 10.
Okay. Because I was gonna do 2 exercises and then talk about more stuff at the end, but you know. All right.
If you think, if you think that 5 to 6 minutes, I'm gonna text you.
Okay. We are on good time. Yeah, we're actually on pretty good time. So I want everyone to, for like 10 minutes, think about your favorite fictional world. It can be in a book, it could be in a TV, or it could be in a movie, and write down 3 specific things that make that world different from our world. I know that sounds weird, but I promise you it'll work. And we're gonna start.
What if you don't have a favorite?
Pick one world.
Yeah, pick a world of which you can list at least 3 things.
Yes.
Because that's what I did. I was like, I this is the one I know the most about. May not be my favorite, but it's the one I know most
Right,
about.
like Aragon isn't my favorite, but at least I can talk about hand dragon things, magic blood, and word magic.
Exactly.
I can
And also just that magic in general. It's absolutely bonkers about that type of magic.
Alright, I've finished my 3 things. I'll look around and see what else everyone else is doing, if anything.
I'm just bugging
I have
Callum
finished
in-
mine.
Yeah, I finished mine a while ago. I'm just bugging Callum in the Twitch.
You're bugging me, you're amusing me.
How much longer we got?
About 5 more minutes. Yeah, 4.5.
Jeez, that's short.
Okay. Show of
Let's
hands,
make it-
quote hands.
Haha.
How many wrote about their favorite book?
I did.
I did.
I did too.
I think I know which one Cal chose too.
Okay, hands up.
Let's-
How many people did a video game?
Kinda-
2, so
kinda.
yes.
There's a couple of video games on this book series. I'll say that.
Oh, okay.
Double whammy.
Yeah. Because I remember doing research on world building and stuff like that, and people saying that video games is some of the best things for world building. Because you could have thousands of years of history, and then just have people stumble into it instead of shoving it into the face like a movie or a book or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can see that.
I love the ambiance music that I chose. It's so great.
Jeopardy! Please play the Jeopardy song.
No. I found a website that's like a soundboard website, and it has a bunch of really nice ambiance music. So I picked my favorite ones, put them all together, and stacked them together to make like a 3-hour playlist. And like every once in a while, I'll hear snoring or like or crows. It's great. I need to change it for next time, but absolutely it was funny. Alright, the timer has 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
I got a second. My dog has decided to drop in.
No, you're good.
I have a soft question. Are there, like, because we're going to be like sharing and stuff like that, are there like taboos that we shouldn't write about or
No.
include in our world?
No, it's your world.
In
Okay.
terms of like just class discussion, there is a trigger blacklist in the Writers Cafe. So
Yeah.
if you are
Right.
worried about anything that you have in your book that you would be worried about somebody else having a comment on or being triggered by, please double check the trigger blacklist. If there's nothing in there that overlaps, do not worry about warning us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can still put stuff in your world
Yeah.
and it be bad. Like I have things in my world obviously
I
that
have
are
child
bad.
labor in my worlds.
I have
Always
I have
child labor in
the
my
slave
worlds.
trade, man. It's great. I don't mean that the slave trade is great, guys. I didn't say that.
Yeah, I don't
I
support
still
child
get
labor.
Vegeta!
I just
Yeah.
find it as-
Vegeta!
That's not what I said. But every time I give it to players and I'm like, hey guys, so you guys are playing in Morsel Biltis, here you go. And they're like, oh my god, can I pick this country? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, you like Matria?
Well, Regina,
Wow.
you're part of my Saturday session. You haven't really seen the dark side of it yet, but
My character
suggested.
has. As long as my character has, that's all.
Oh yeah, your character has definitely delved into it. It's just as a player, you're not really not quite aware of it yet.
Yeah, I'm not, but I do know I'm excited for what comes.
Oh,
Don't you hate it when you're born in a place and all of a sudden you're forced to hate minorities? Isn't it just the worst?
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
that is pretty common in a lot of places.
Isn't it amazing when you fully know what the actual history of particular places and then you play a character specifically and be like, nah, I actually don't like that. I actually like that race. So I'm just gonna nope out of here and not like my
Yeah.
own race.
I love playing races
Yeah.
like that. I love seeing characters like that.
I feel bad because I'm the complete opposite. I like. You've all met Reganavira. You know what I'm talking about.
I think Reganavira is a sweetheart.
Wow, you're like the first person that has that.
She was so nice to Grizzy. Okay.
Does anybody have any questions about the exercise that we're currently going on with? Any clarification may be required, or is there any questions we can ask at this juncture while we're just a little past halfway?
We're going to talk about our favorite worlds and why we like them in this regard?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
Well, not so much not short. We have a minute left now, but we're going to, in particular, talk about not essentially what we like or dislike about the world, but more so what is different in these worlds that are different from our own.
I have an obligation to always state this name whenever I hear Regnavira. Drug.
No!
Okay.
I thought he left. He just
pops in, says that, leaves. I'm kind of surprised you also use Opera GX. I just realized that.
Oh yeah, I have to. It's the only way that I can have multiple tabs open and be actually able to do things.
I never left. I've been here the entire time.
I know, but it was just funny. It's just like one word, drug, and then leaves. It's like, what? What did I miss? I didn't even do anything. There it is. There it is. Reset. Don't do that to me.
Timer. I'll mute.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna go in order from top to bottom.
Well, we might be able to do this pretty quick if we just get screen caps from everybody that made the document, drop them into the chat, and then we'll quick run through them.
Yeah, you know what? I like that even better. I'm gonna go into
how much time you're working with.
I mean,
I know we've got like 2 more hours.
I gave myself a 3 hour. I gave myself 3 hours because I knew this was especially this one's gonna be a lot shorter than the others. So as much time as you guys want to spend on everything, you guys can.
Okay.
So what I'll do is this.
Yeah, I just
I'll
dropped
take
mine
my
in
moderation
Worldbuilding
and
channel.
calm down.
Here it is. Just drop it in
I am perfectly fine with chatting about worlds.
Absolutely. Drop it in everyone drop the world. Yep, drop your thing right here. Perfect. Yep, 3 things that make this world different from my favorite world. What world is it?
What sort of world did you do, Drake? Or Mark, I guess.
The world of Lego Ninjago.
Oh
my god, you're amazing.
Dude,
Yes.
I went for the crackhead option.
Really
And honestly, I on a tangent later on, but I love that world so much.
We'll get there. That's gonna be such a great can of worms to open later.
Can't wait for the whole week where we just talk about Lego Ninjago.
Somebody
oh no!
I'll download Regina.
I beat your Lego Ninjago with my Bionicle.
I downloaded Regina.
Okay, Bionicle is sick. Bionicle, the whole planet is a giant robot.
Oh my god, it's so great.
Dude,
we'll talk about that
it's
later.
insane.
We'll talk about that later. The lore is fucking crazy.
How did I get here?
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Oh my god. Via Dragon, how the fuck did I know you
universe of Lego Chima is an alternate universe of Lego Ninjago. Like Lego Ninjago's universe is divided into 12 realms. One of them is just all of the Lego Chima franchise.
Okay.
Dude, Lego Ninjago,
You know what?
Bionicles, that's my childhood, my guy. Okay?
Crazy.
Here, I'm gonna do it like this.
I live in that space.
I'm going to show
All
you
of
guys.
Lego's original properties have whack world building. Have you ever heard of Star Wars?
yeah, I think we all have.
I mean, I have a bad feeling about this, though.
I am just looking forward to discussing every single one of these.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Where do you want to? We'll start from the top. Whoever sent theirs first. We're gonna go with Spartan first. Spartan, explain what you did.
I decided to go with one of my favorite authors of all time, Brandon Sanderson, who has actually done a lot of courses on world building and just recently found Elden Ring on Twitter and has been sharing his childlike glee with it. In any case, He has a very famous series named Mistborn, and there are 3 books, and then there's a 3-book sequel that takes place like 100 or 200 years afterwards. We're just gonna focus on the first one. They have a very specific set of magical abilities that people of noble bloodline can get or use, which means that it's a very much a social structure of like, okay, if you're nobility, you have this magical ability. If you're not nobility, you don't really get this unless you're, a bastard son or daughter, whatever the case may be. Because this society it has this ability, it means that the society is also built around the idea of magic. We have people who have a deeper understanding of the magic and learn how to combat it. People make weapons out of glass because there is a magnetic ability that these magic users can have. There are also tracks and lanes and roads of sorts so that magic users can move faster. There's also it also rains ash in this world, and we understand why it is later in the series, but it's never thought to be this is weird. It's been like that ever since people have remembered. There's no reason to think it otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really, really love about the magical world is that they have explored and tried their best to be different with their magic. The way the magic works in Mistborn is you gotta consume a metal or a metal alloy, and then a specific effect happens. Which means people can experiment. Some of them will eat different kinds of alloy and be like, okay, this one has a stronger reaction, this one doesn't have a reaction, this one is a new reaction, let's see what this one does. So it's explored and researched, and some people have an ability to manipulate emotions. It's not a matter of okay, I'm just going to do this really easily, just make you feel happy. Nope. Sometimes some of them it goes subtle. Some of them go like, okay, I just need to tweak you a little bit. So it explores its magic and explores its world much more of a surface of like, I say this word and wave this wand in this particular fashion, and this preset thing happens. It feels like it is a explored and brand new area. That's why I love it.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Next one to go is you kind of already went though. Is I'm gonna call you Satu because that's all I can think about. Sorry, Satu.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, yeah. Well, I talked about Lego Ninjago, and if I'm just gonna say one thing to make it brief, the reason why I think Lego Ninjago works so well is because of its ability to clash completely different ideas and somehow make it work. For example, the opening scene of the entire show, it's feudal Japan, it's rural, there's a bunch of people working on a rice farm, and a blacksmith talking to an old sensei about the difference between a samurai and a ninja. And then the second scene, the sky goes dark, and skeletons driving monster trucks come in and steal people. And it's incredible, because every single thing that they choose to add is always inspired. And there's always... whether the explanation makes sense or not doesn't necessarily come into play, but they always at least feel that they should treat you with the amount of respect that either this is the way it is and you just have to accept it because that's the nature of the universe, or there is actually an explanation for it. And one way or the other, they make the effort to make it work, and they always choose to add things that are genuinely inspired. And that is all I gotta say.
All right. The next one is Kitten.
I may have had a brain fart and misunderstood the question, the writing prompt. I thought it was comparing another world to the one that we're creating.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. Either way, come on. What are the differences from our world and the world that you talked about?
Okay, so I was going to do Harry Potter.
Okay.
And misunderstood it, so I read some stuff. But basically, magic and basically dragons are not sentient, and they're basically like beasts that you can control. They're very deadly beasts, but they're still beasts. Whereas everywhere else, you usually see dragons as sentient beings. You probably can't talk to them, but they're still sentient.
Makes sense.
And then you have magic, and you need wands to cast it, which I always thought was kind of weird in Harry Potter. Like, why do you need a wand if you're magic?
I can't. I will talk to you about that after, because there's actually.
We can't really comment on the
I can't.
craziness that is J.K. Rowling's Ghost Rider.
Yeah, because honestly, there is actual information about that, and I will talk to you about that later.
There is lore on it. I'm just like, why not? And then you have the thing with humans, and they usually live pretty old. Although I don't understand, if you have all this crazy magic, why don't you live younger rather than older? How do you live older?
I mean, Aragon actually had an answer to that. I think, and I can't remember if this question is from Aragon or from Harry Potter. The mind grows old and will die. So even if you revert your body to a younger thing, your mind is still gonna age.
Yeah.
I think that might be from Aragon though.
Alright, the next one is from I'm gonna pronounce it as best as I can. Zar Hacker?
Zar Hakar. You can just say Zar.
Okay, Zar.
Yeah, so my world that I chose was Bionicle, and it was a franchise I was really into when I was younger. It's a Lego franchise, and it was the idea was a series of toys based around building your own action figures, and there was like lore and books that to go along with it. And the basic premise is that you have everyone in the universe is like these biomechanical beings, right? And you usually have 6 heroes known as the Toa who have elemental powers: stone, earth, water, air, fire, ice, that kind of thing. And they are supposed to protect the Matoran from the dark force of Makuta. And the toys kind of follow that, and the story kind of follows that. And it initially presents, the really interesting thing about it is it initially presents as a very tribal setting. It's inspired by the Maori tribes, I think, of Peloponnesian. Is it Peloponnesian? But as there are like elements that initially present as supernatural, like you have the Toa can collect the masks that they can wear to give them like powers, like a mask of shielding, a mask of X-ray vision, that kind of stuff. But as the storyline progresses, it's like, is it magic or is it just Clork tech, which is sufficiently advanced technology, is indistinguishable from magic? And eventually it's revealed, hey, the entire world, the Great Spirit Matanui, is actually a giant robot that the setting takes place inside. And that was like a massive plot twist at the end. And not only that, the villain actually wins at a point, as that same thing is revealed. Well, that was really cool as well. That was me talking about Bionicle.
Okay. Oh, you did good. I'm sorry. I'm listening to you, but I was also reading chat as you were saying that. I did hear what you were saying. I'm very sorry. Can anyone just join the current Discord card? Only select people. No, anyone can. Yeah.
No, yeah, I answered most of these.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay,
Don't
thank
worry
you.
about it, Regina. I got you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're gonna go into me. Hi. Obviously, as everyone knows, I am totally not obsessed with Harry Potter, so I picked the world of Harry Potter.
Are you gonna watch the new Fantastic Beast?
Yes and no.
Let's get back on subject.
Yes and no, but yes and no, but yeah.
We are on
So-
subject. We're talking Harry Potter.
So yes and no, but eh. So I picked the world of Harry Potter, and I went from a different aspect. Obviously, there's magic. It's not in our actual world. But I knew that everyone else, if somebody picked Harry Potter, they were going to say, there is magic in that world, and we don't. My own things aside. One thing that is different from our world to their world, for some reason, they think that divination magic is not real magic in their world. compared to ours, because we actually don't mind divination magic. For example, tarot cards, runes, and all that stuff. Like, we actually are okay with divination magic in our world, and it's seen as like a legitimate magic. When as in Harry Potter realm, for some reason, it's barely talked about, except with like, you know, Hermione hating it, but it's not really used like it should be. Also, a bold statement that I put: colonization seems to have not happened. I could go off tangent and go on to great detail of what this means, but and just to make a good summation of it, they don't really like to discuss anything outside of Europe. And one thing, for example, case in point, the one wizard school in the world is the one wizard school inside of Asia is in Japan. If anybody knows World War II or even World War I, they know that's a problem. Also, the third one, a school is the focal point of the world in Harry Potter and not religion, though they treat it as if it's a religion, because Hogwarts is like it's like the center of the entire universe for some reason, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I feel like it would be somewhere in Asia, but that's besides the point. Again, before I go into extreme detail, you're going to realize over the course of this entire course that I both love and hate Harry Potter's world, and there are multiple aspects of the Harry Potter world that I will talk about and compare to what you should not do. But I'll let the next person go, which is Glass.
Warhammer 40K. I'm gonna start this out by saying I don't know that much. I just really love like how defined everything is. There's so much to go through, and I haven't gone through it all just to save my sanity and my time. But the things I do know, there's just like everyone hates everyone basically. It's just this all-out war of these different races and groups just vying for control over the galaxy. And you have the Imperium Man, which is basically extremely xenophobic humans who just want to kill everything, and it's awful. You got the Orcs, who also want to kill everything, but in like I guess less like constructed manner.
In a fun way.
They're yeah, in a fun
In
way.
a running on
go.
faith way.
Yeah, they run extremely on faith, and we can go into that, but for the sake of time, if they believe something, it happens, basically. It's amazing. The little mushroom people. Anyway, I wrote down like the differences between our world and this one. Galactic travel is possible. You use the equivalent of hell to travel from planet to planet, and you know, it's hell. It's dangerous. People die all the time going through this process, but they still use it for some reason, because like doing it normally is too slow. I don't know. They also one little fact, the ships that they use to travel through the warp, or hell as I'm calling it, they don't know how they work, which is crazy to me. Like, these people who are, I don't know how they don't know how to use technology, but it's a whole thing. They're demons, orcs, as I mentioned, just a bunch of crazy people doing crazy things. There's so much to talk about with Warhammer, and not enough time for anything. So I guess that's it. I don't know.
it's still a good explanation of it, though. Like, you still did good. Mikey, do you actually want to say stuff? Because I know you said you wanted to just listen in, but do you want to actually...
I can talk. I'm on break right now, so I
Okay.
can keep it short. So starting off with Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with it. It's pretty much the father of all medieval fantasy, at least. Time is defined differently compared to Earth, where they have valiant years, and I won't go too much in depth with that because I don't know it that well either. But time is measured differently. World was actually flat at some point in time, contrary to popular belief in real world. We are actually round here, and then good and evil are well distinguished in Lord of the Rings. You can tell who are the good people, who are the bad people, and you can also tell what are good factions and what are bad factions. From the color coding to where the sun rises, to where the sun sets, where darkness dwells, to where light shines. It is you can easily tell what is good and what is evil without even having the bad mouth.
Okay.
Love it.
Thank you. Kyle W.
Hi.
Hi.
I chose the world of Legend of Zelda, especially the world portrayed in the game of the Skyward Sword. It was one of my first Wii games, and I loved the whole JRPG exploration of the world and the lore. The three things that I wanted to take out of the world were the riddling dungeons. The dungeons were puzzling, they were pretty aesthetic, and they always gave a vibe of, if you are in the forest area, the dungeon itself looks like it belongs inside the forest. The second part would be the floating island. I like the idea of separation of the different parts of the world with a big barrier, in this case altitude. And lastly, I said religious tethers to the plot. I meant as in the whole plot is all about Zelda, her connection to Hylia, and her pilgrimage through to contact her, and so on and so forth. I like the idea of a greater power connected to the smaller characters, guiding them through a bigger plot than themselves.
All right. Lexi.
Whoa. What
Hello?
was I saying? Hold on. Huh?
Yeah. You can hear. I can hear you.
Yeah.
What about your world?
My world. I chose Adventure Time. I was talking about Keepa at first, and then I thought about the world, and I was like, I thought about Adventure Time, and I love Adventure Time a lot more than I like Keepa.
Okay.
So I was like, hold on. What am I? I'm just talking about the three things that I like, right?
The three things that were like different from our world. Yeah.
Different. Okay. So I really like the dystopian type of Earth type of concept. Like that's really cool to me. And then hold on. So I like how the four elements thing that they had wasn't the typical Earth, Wind, Fire, whatever, and it was slime and candy and ice and stuff, which was just weird, but I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have a third thing that was kind of different, just because I guess it's
You're good. You're doing good.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. So it's the thing I like a lot though is the idea of having, I guess how he's a human or whatever. I don't know if it's kind of a spoiler, I guess, if you haven't watched all of it and you want to, but I don't know, a couple years or something. I don't know. But further on in the show, he discovers where all the other humans are, and that as a concept is so cool, and and it's just because on Earth or whatever, we all know where the other humans are, but the idea of being alone and isolated, and then finding all your people that you've been looking for this whole time, it's I don't know, it's really cool. So that's my thing.
No, you're right. That's awesome.
Okay.
No, you're good. Troy, can you? What's yours? Oh, Trey wasn't. Oh yeah, Trey had to leave. The next person who did Pokemon. I'm so sorry. I just realized that Trey had to leave. Oh my god, I lost my train. No. And the last one is Pyrokit. Pyro? Pyro. Well, Pyro was talking about Pokemon.
Pyro! Oh. I immediately thought TF2 with that name. Sorry.
No, you're good. Pyro, if you don't want to talk about your stuff, it's fine.
Did I miss me?
Yes, no, I didn't open up your thing and I felt bad. Can you just copy and paste everything you said in chat so I can just read it?
Open it.
Hi, Pyro.
Oh, Pyro, good. Good. Ghost, can you send me your 3 things, please? And while we're doing that.
I'm an old lady who doesn't remember how to use Chromebook.
No, you're good.
That's not your fault. Discord's weird on Chromebooks.
Yeah. But like, I really like the world of Pokemon, and personal reasons, but from a world building perspective, like the things I like about Pokemon are like their themes of, especially like the themes of how nature and humanity work together instead of against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually like there's a very communal aspect that feels very big in like the real world, where everyone helped each other to get goals done. Like you get Machop and Machoke to go help build house, and you get like Rock types to dig a tunnel for people to, like, get through and travel. I really like that, and it's like we're working with nature. We're not gonna demolish this mountain to build a highway. We will build enough just so that we can need to do, but we will leave nature alone. And of course I like the creatures themselves, mostly because all the creatures are kind of domesticated. Like, you just can go out and, like, you instantly domesticate a wild animal. I mean, it's coming out very weirdly from how I had it in my mind, but the fact that you can immediately forge a bond with a wild animal, and you can just, like, work together with it and have a common goal.
My mother is calling me real quickly. I understand. I will be back in 2 seconds. You guys are going to get the lovely BRB screen that I have. He's great. This is Larry. Don't be an idiot while I'm gone.
No promises.
I'll keep them entertained.
I'll be good, only because I don't want the cat ninjas to hurt me.
Cat ninja. What about the cat ninjas?
Hey, God.
You want me to use markers? No.
There's more cat ninjas on the way.
There are cat ninjas?
Mm-hmm. They're keeping you from using markers.
No, I like sticking markers on each other to make swords.
So
Yeah, that is fine, but you can't use them to write on paper. You can use them, but they're not intended purpose. But you can't use them for their intended purpose.
I'm gonna load them in a gun and shoot them across the room.
Okay, what if I use malicious compliance? It's not a marker, but it's a pen that writes like a marker.
A very fat
Unless
pen,
it's
that's what it is.
It's just a very You're walking on thin ice, lady.
On thin ice?
Alright, I'm back.
Hi, we were being idiots.
Thin ice.
But Larry was watching over you guys. You weren't supposed to be idiots.
And he was enjoying it.
The cat ninjas are on the way to Pyro's house to confiscate all markers.
No.
Larry's low-key creepy.
No. But
also, Mark had to dip.
Not my markers. I need those to
And-
draw their way to auto.
They're also on their way to autocorrect all your stuff, Regina. Autocorrect it wrong.
Cal had to leave as well. I just noticed that Cal left. Gotta sign out for a bit, yeah. All right, that's good. See, and Cal, and last one to go is Ghost.
Jazzy, where's the crochet?
Oh, well, yeah, Ghost.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to be very quick because I actually have to drive the car and get a pizza. So, basically, this world time is not parallel with Earth's time. Like, time still goes 365 days a year, 24-hour days, and stuff like that. But you could be in that world for 15 years and not age whatsoever in the real world. What was the rest of the stuff? Oh yeah, the main inhabitants of the land are animals, and they can talk. And the world is flat. If this sounds biblical to you, it's because it is, because it's literally the Chronicles of Narnia.
That is a really good series.
Oh man, I just realized I could have done Discworld for favorite world. I'm sad.
Anyway, I have to go. Have fun, y'all, and
Have a good one.
Don't be mean to Regina.
Bye.
I could have
Bye.
done Fillory from the Magicians, now that I think about it.
It's gonna look better than the original.
How dare you? How dare you?
I need all that time for this.
Promise is broken.
Oh, oh no! I served my time.
I guess my biggest problem is, do I pick a world that I've already made and write about it, or do I try to make something completely new and original? Okay. Alright.
Yo.
Yo!
How are you gonna decide who joins?
Yes.
It'll have to be.
We all fight
Who
to
knows?
the
Maybe.
death.
Maybe it'll be this time.
Vote, vote, vote. We do a vote.
So Cobalt of Fire.
So basically, if you have a luck stat of 0, you can't get in. Darn.
Yeah, yeah, I have that as -5, so.
Oh, yours is better than mine.
I just realized
My
I
luck
have been
stat
muted
is
on
like
fucking stream this entire
8.
time. Not for the whole thing, just for the last time I came back. And everyone who is, I've been muted, by the way, on stream, I'm very sorry. What I just said, and I realize you're only going to hear what they said to explain, reiterate what I just said, and I'm very sorry for. Essentially what I will do is, not making this homework. I was debating if I was going to make this either homework or thing. They wanted to do the 20 minutes. I'm gonna give you guys 20 minutes again. I'm going to give you guys 20 minutes to answer the questions below. To write down 3 things that is different in your world, and then we'll talk about it again. And then you'll give me like 1 to 2 sentence explanation of what exactly this is what exactly
One quick question.
Yeah.
About the first Sorry, about the first question. How did my world get like this? Or is that sort of implying that our world was like this and then it got converted?
So
like
these
it went
questions
from a D&D world to that?
So these questions aren't like prompt. These questions are more so prompts than actual questions. So if you want to do all the questions, go right ahead, but you don't have to. These are just to say like, hey, if you're going to write down 3 things, here's some ways that you can write down your 3 things. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Yeah.
And this is about the world we're creating?
Yes. This is the world that you are creating for this entire class.
These are some big questions.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
and I know.
That's why I was bugging Callum about that.
No, but exactly that. Those are extremely big questions. And that's the entire point of this, is that even though these are big questions, we're going to be answering these questions over the next few weeks. Over the next 12 weeks, to be exact. And seeing how these questions both are answered and changed over the course of the 12 weeks, because maybe you like something extra. Maybe you don't like something. Maybe you want to add or subtract something. You don't know exactly what you want to add or subtract yet because you don't know what you have. So if you're going to make a world, do it there. Because honestly, one idea for a world that I have been itching to have is the idea of you know how in D&D, not in D&D, sorry, you know how in Harry Potter there are the idea, like, as I said in one of the 3 things that I didn't like, one of the things was the idea that, what is it called? That colonization doesn't exist. Colonization in Harry Potter, for some odd reason, is not a thing at all whatsoever.
I thought it was
Makes no
because
sense.
of traits.
It's because of J.K. Rowling. Listen. There was colonization all the way during the Roman era. Plus, she doesn't really give an exact date of when magic started, and I kind of want to do that so that I can make it where I can make it similar to / a parallel universe of what Harry Potter is trying to be. So I'm going to make 8 countries, and those 8 countries I'm going to have a powerhouse country, obviously, and go from there and talk about how, and talk about those 3 things of how my world's going to be different from
I think you already thought of this, but the biggest peeve I have with the Harry Potter universe that Rick Riordan, the author of Percy Jackson, covered super easily. How does nobody know about the wizards at all?
I think what it is that they do.
Have you seen Men in Black?
But yeah, not even
Very
that.
ineffective. That's
But
very ineffective.
even that, like, still, I think what it is that they have to interact with the regular humans. They have to interact with the regular world so that they can do that. I truly do not believe that there is. Yeah, you saw nothing. Exactly what you said, Mikey. You saw nothing, I saw nothing. That's exactly what happens, because there's no way that there's a random school in the middle of Scotland and no Scottish person is like, what is that thing over there? It's a big building. It's quite tall.
Oh, who's that?
What the fuck is that? That's crazy. And everyone's just like,
why is there a flying car around?
Yeah, why is there a flying car around?
No one is going to question that or read about it. It's not going to appear in the
He's like, I think he's just drunk. And that's what it is. It's like, no, I'm seeing like an actual flying car hit them. I think you're just drunk, man. There's no flying cars. If there was flying cars, we would have them.
Nobody talks about the unicorns that are just freely roaming around.
Yeah. Or
There
the giants
is
that are apparently having sex with humans.
Yeah.
Like,
And
seriously, I hate it.
Like, the idea, like, for example, with Stardust, which is why I love it so much, there's a reason why there isn't a thing. There is a thing.
Stardust by Brandon Sanderson?
I believe so. The movie Stardust?
Oh, that's a movie. Oh, sorry.
I
Brandon
like that
Sanderson has a
movie.
recent series that also is titled Stardust.
No, I mean the, like, 1990s movie Stardust.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one. Sorry.
Okay, so we're gonna have a watch party on this server in the coming days. We're going to be watching Stardust. If you want to tune in to the video, please come in to the server. The server is in the links in the channel. So if you want to come into the Discord server and also be a part of this as well, come on in. As well as we're gonna watch Stardust. Because I'm going to be basing my world off of Stardust. I mean, I based it, what do you call it? I essentially based my new world, my new storybook world off of a mixture of Stardust and Inkheart, with some of my own twists and tricks in there, along with Once Upon a Time. And, yeah. I'm so sorry for yawning. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys 20 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on for 20 minutes. And I'm going to... You are snoring. Why are you snoring? I hear somebody snoring. I'm going to skip over you.
It's okay. It's alright. It's alright. But I'm gonna...
I am just doing my visual novel world because I'm like, screw it, I'm not going to build a new world. I'm just going to talk about a world that I already partially exist.
No, exactly.
Exists.
Do exactly that. That's perfect. Alright, I'm going to start the timer now.
Question?
Answer?
The three things that we talked about in the previous exercise, do they have to tie into this exercise or not at all?
Oh, no. This is now you asking the question of, you're writing down 3 things that make your world different from our own. And then explain why you decided to make them true about your world. But how I'm going to do it is comparing Harry Potter and, my own world, which is to help me start off my base. So...
You know what I'm saying? You should have just contacted me and said, you know what, I'm going to take this part off because she doesn't want to or whatever. Anything would have been better than nothing at all. So the patient
I'm going to
Yeah.
mute myself so that you don't hear background noises on stream or on you guys.
I'm thinking about this, right? And I'm gonna struggle to answer these questions. The choice of I have some campaign worlds, but one of my friends who is in those campaigns is currently with me right now in this class. So
Wahahaha.
hi.
Hi.
So I have to kind of make a new world. But that's the issue. I can't just do something like that cold boot, essentially.
Sorry, I had to step out for the washroom. What are we talking about?
We're doing the exercise of answering the 5 or 3
Yes.
questions.
But you were also chatting, and I just
I
was
was
wondering if you were
chatting
talking
because
about
I
it.
don't know if I can answer these yet.
I know, like that was my biggest problem because I'm like looking at this, I'm like, I don't even have a name for my world yet. What are you like? What? How am I gonna answer this? What do you mean, like talking about the culture and climate and geography?
I got a big empty whiteboard, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just say skip the first one, go straight to either life forms or what is different in the world that we are in. Because those two are going to be like, okay, let's think about what I know and let's twist it a little bit. Because like talking about life forms, one of the things that I have is, oh yeah, some people have gills. Oh, that's fantastic. That means they can live in the ocean, or maybe they're only freshwater or stuff like that. So like talking about life forms of like, oh yeah, some people have this, some people have that. Let's make a twist and see where it goes. Let's increase lifespans. Let's lower lifespans. There's an author, Brandon Mull. He decided about one of his life forms. It was a construct of sorts. It would only live 5 years. However, they could breed extremely easily. They could eat anything, and the purpose of their creation was for war. Essentially, that meant these people, they get born, they mature in like 2 months, and then they go out to war. You have an army that can be prepared within 3 months and then have a standing army for years upon end that only grows larger. That was a slight twist that grew into something that was heavily impacted the story.
Oh yeah, gratifications, like there's a term for that, I forget, when you tweak something small and that has greater effects down the line.
Oh yeah, I think it's the butterfly effect, although I don't know if that one applies to
That's
that
more
particular
about
one.
quantum mechanics and causality. But I guess sure, makes sense.
Well, we'll just call it. Oh, it might be pyramid. I don't know. But yeah, think about those 2 questions first, and then like whenever I create stories, I always go, let's think about what my end result is and what I can twist so that it can become that. Because we're not writing a story and we're just making a D&D setting, my method's not really going to work for that. But think about it that way. If we're making a D&D campaign, what would be in your world to help it?
Well, it's an entirely different mindset because what's the campaign for? The campaign is to entertain the players.
Yeah.
So you want to make a setting that like facilitates that, and that gets at aspects
sort
of
of
game design.
Yeah, and what kind of behaviors do you want to enhance? Do you want them to be punished if they are wrong, if they steal or are being an asshole, or do you want them to be ridiculed or?
By the way, you guys are at 15 minutes now. Just wanted to point that out. Well, 14 minutes and like 7 or 8 seconds. I don't know. But yeah.
I would love to put one of my campaigns into this, because that's an incomplete world too.
Yeah, why don't you? We're
Well,
already
because one of my
altering the
friends is here, and they're in the campaign.
Okay, that's
and I don't
fair.
want to spoil them. Because how did your world get like that? Well, you'll find out.
You'll find out in the future.
it's just creating a world is such an endeavor. But for some people, it just, for me, it is. It's
Yeah.
like I get a little jealous when I see other people like, oh, I got 19 ideas. Like, what? I got
Okay,
0.
there's a difference between getting an idea and converting that idea. Because I have 1,000 different writing prompts saved on my computer that I could create create stories, but then it's converting that story onto paper or into words or that sort of thing.
All I need is an idea I am interested in. I have no issue converting, but I just struggle to get the initial idea.
Do you like sci-fi settings or fantasy settings or dystopian settings or I guess okay, something I would love to see. I can't remember what the proper genre is. The old detective ones, like the black and white setting.
Noir.
Noir. Can you make a noir world?
That's interesting. I haven't experienced enough of that media. I could try. I've
Yeah.
always been more of a sci-fi person.
Because the noir setting, I personally have not seen a lot of movies or read a lot of books of the noir setting, but man, everything I have seen of it looks really cool. Because it's the idea of because the idea of it is that you live in the underground, in the rural of a city. You got to the higher ups around you that are living their normal lives, and then you're in the shady parts. You're the in the nitty gritty where people get knifed in the street, or you are a person who has entered that world and realizing just what everything looks like, and how people are behaving, how some people do hold on to their morals and how some people don't.
We are at the halfway mark, by the way. We're at about 10 minutes and 20 some seconds. How's everyone going along with their stuff? Alright, good talk, guys. Oh, okay.
Well, myself and Zahaka were chatting about worlds, so.
Okay.
I would like to know how elaborate should we make these 3 points, these 3 answers to the questions?
Like 1 to 2 sentences at the max.
Can it be 1 sentence? I'm struggling with making it 2.
Yes, you can. You can make 1 sentence only.
Okay.
It does not have to be 2 sentences, absolutely.
No.
Well, those kids play outside all the time. They're
Can't see.
All right, guys. Your guys are at the 5 minute mark. Checking in again. How's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? You do not. God, you do not need a name.
I only have a name because I only have a name for my world because this is a world I've been thinking of a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this world I'm writing a video game for it. The game has a name, the world doesn't.
You can do what you can do what do you call it? What Dragon Age did of Ferelden. Or like Thea, I think it's like Thea something, and it's literally just like it's just the acronym for the world of Dragon Age.
That is creative.
Yeah, that's something you can do as well. So you can make it literally the world of like THEWO, your game name. An acronym. Do you mind telling us the name of your game?
Love has no size.
Curse you. Oh.
Like that.
Jesus.
Aye. There you go. That's your world's name.
The world of Love has no size.
Please show on stream the questions again from the presentation.
Say it again.
Could you show the questions for the exercise on stream?
Absolutely. Here it is, and I'll even put it in the slideshow. So that everyone can see it. And I'll go back to being muted again.
Thank you.
hold up. To people who have been in stream this entire time, just to get you guys in like the last few seconds, how many channel points do you think that you guys have collected over like today?
I have 600 because I just this was the first stream I caught. I started with 50. I got 600 or something. I got about 600. I redeemed stretch and now I have 360. So. Okay.
Then I'm going to do that. Then this is what I'll do. I'm going to make it where you have to buy your like a rally ticket inside with channel points. So like for example, I made the threshold be 6. So 6 times 6 is 360. Is 360. So if you collect 3,600 channel points, you can put it into and redeem the possible one-shot thing.
So you can expend 3,600 points for the chance of partaking in the campaign.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That does seem pretty fair because that would give incentive for us to have your stream open and interact in the stream. So.
Yeah. I'll make it like 3,600 or like around 4,000 points for you to redeem that.
Can we buy more than one entry?
You know what? Yes. And that is the timer. Thank you for saying that to me. Because now, yes, reset. That is the end of the time. How's everyone feeling?
I didn't finish.
Oh.
I didn't really finish either, but I have the entire world made in a different area, so so it's not a huge loss for me.
Oh no, I have 0 because I'm not logged in. No. I wrote too much. No, you didn't. Okay, look how much I wrote. Let's be honest. I wrote a lot too.
I'm approaching an entire page worth.
That's good.
Just one?
That's perfect.
Yeah, because again, I have most of my writing in another document, which is like 20 pages long.
No, but that's the thing. That's good though. That's amazing for you to have that much on your world and that the idea that you have on their world, so that you can fully flesh it out later on.
I'm one of those people. Like, if you inquire about my world in the Saturday sessions, there's a lot that I have thought about.
Same here. It's like how in my I have my Friday/Sunday campaign, which is the same campaign I'm running twice. My storybook campaign. There is a lot to the world itself just off the bat. Like, not even like excusing the idea of it's based off of fairy tales, but there's also so much lore that's just a part of the world itself because of what the world is. And I can't go into too much detail because I have a player currently in the call right now, and B, players watch my things, so I can't do that either. So I can't go into it. But I'll go first about my world that I'm making. She is unnamed right now. That's fine. We love that. We live that. We laugh that. It's perfectly fine. For the 3 things that I have, I specifically wanted, for the first one, colonization will matter in my world. Obviously colonization matters in our world, but in a different, and I want to kind of bring that sameness from our world into this world, but this colonization will matter in my world just essentially just means if a major area deals with some type of magic, and it will travel to other areas. It will travel to other areas and change based off of that area. So, example, France had Haiti for a long time, and they were freed, I think, like in the 60s or 50s. I don't remember when. Don't quote me. I'm not good with world history. But one of the things that came out of Haiti, I think, is it Haiti? Yeah, it's Haiti. One thing that Haiti got out of being colonized by France was French Creole. And because of French Creole, it's like also how like in Jamaica they have patois. It's the same thing. It's a Creole language, and it's a mixture of for France and their own language mixture in a sort of amalgamation of language itself. And that's something.
My dad can actually speak Haitian Creole because he worked who actually went on a mission down around there.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, I kind of want to make it like that because I feel like, at least for example, in which is the world I'm fixing, Harry Potter, colonization doesn't really matter, and it doesn't. Not to get too detailed in it, it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't really show. If it does matter, it doesn't, because they'll mention like in passing, wizards don't need wands, but half of the world still uses it, and half of the world somehow doesn't. Like, it's dumb. Second thing, 2 areas will be different at different levels of urbanization. This means that because of the presence of magic in one area, I said realm because I would probably get into more detail about it, the other world will be more technologically advanced than the other. So for example, if one place can cast light on an object, there will be no need for torches. If that makes any sense. And for the third one, historians will be the most respected and the richest people, because people want them to write down the world's lore, and they will most likely be the people that are most easily paid off, because they want to look like they are they want their legacy to be grand and wonderful, as they put here. And this also means that business at the history business would only be trusted as if it was written down by the everyday man and not an upper class person, because you don't want them to be paid off. If that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah. We're gonna go down the list. We're gonna go with French. Vanilla. Lexi.
What do I, huh?
We're basically sharing what we have written down.
Oh no, okay. Hold on. Do I have to go first? Cause I kinda don't want to.
You know what? I can't do that on stream. I have to be nice to you. I'll let you go second.
Oh.
Glass, you'll go first.
Oh God. Okay. So what do? Do I just like say like the question I answer, then say what I wrote down, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So my first question was how to get like that. And at the beginning of this, I have this little Google Doc that I have where I write down all my like little ideas that I get every day. And one of them was like this specific thing to do with like necromancers or whatever. So I took that and I was like, what if there was just this entire like continent or world, I guess, that was plagued by like a necromancer and their undead army. So I basically wrote that down, where there are like people struggling to survive through these hordes of undead that aren't just like people but animals and plants too, and like the gods have all gone from this wretched place, and people are clinging on to like a life that isn't really there anymore. So just this awful, all around terrible place to be. My next one was, why is it different from ours? And I wrote down, death is extremely prevalent and so is magic. And the fact that magic users being so like valuable to everything in this this place, that the undead horde and their like sort of intelligent counterparts would steal or like kidnap these magic users and use them in experiments so that they couldn't fight back against what was going on. Um, and then the third one was what do life forms look in the world look like? Um, and normal people are normal, obviously. Everyone is sort of like gathered in towns to try and survive uh, these these zombies, I guess, like skeletons, stuff like that. Um, and then, uh, uh, damn, yeah, those plagued by undeath, however, are more often than not mindless, animalistic beings. They've got like flesh like, slawing off their bones, black blood, stuff like that. Plant life is more like predatory. Uh, like say, instead of a cute little dandelion, there's this like massive, hulking, like almost. Uh, it's not very pretty, I would say, but just this like Venus flytrap almost like thing that like hunts it down and like whatever. Um, but yeah, that's what I wrote down.
Okay, that's good. Questions for you. Thank you. That's pretty good. All right, Kitten, what did you put?
A lot. Let me see my three best ones. So my world is primarily made with both technology and magic. The region that you are in is going to define primarily what type of technology and magic that you're going to find. Some technology is more magic based, some magic uses technology primarily to actually use it. So, for instance, Oceateria is within this world, and Oceateria, I think I've mentioned it before, anyone that's been here for a while, but they have these barrier systems underneath the water, and these barriers are thin but also not thin. They don't allow water to go through, and if needed, they can become more stable in order to block projectiles. And this is a barrier system that uses both technology and magic. However, Oshitera is incredibly old and has been able to build the system up for millions upon millions of years. The rest of the world is not quite as old, not nearly as old actually. And most of it actually comes from Oshiteria residents actually moving there and populating there and settling down.
Okay.
I'm back. What
The
I missed?
culture.
Nothing much.
Oh wow, my world is just not very important. I see how it is.
No, I meant that in a way of like he didn't miss anything that was like.
I'm just teasing.
Okay, I was like, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just gonna put it on the screen.
Nah. I'm just messing with you. So the culture of my world is very much diverse with how big it actually is. There's many different types of cultures. Oceateria primarily uses the matriarchy over other types of things, and it's split into two different regions. There is the depths, which is like those deep and dark places. You have also the abyss, which is within the depths, completely different areas for criminals. And then we have the surface, which is different than the depths, but they're basically the same, and the two ruling basically royal families actually work together in order to make sure that the surface and the depths work together and make sure everything is okay.
All right, that's awesome. Because I do remember Oshterra, and honestly, if you guys in general want to during the week want to be able to flesh out your world a little bit more, we do have in the Writers Cafe there is a section called the server world build, world build, and it is an entire map that we kind of got together on and made and sort of delve deep into. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 countries in it. I know a lot more than we have. But there are 17 states, and states meaning countries, not states as in like the United States. and you can see what the map looks like, as well as an updated version of what the map was. And people have sort of claimed some areas already, but
Where
if
is it,
you,
sorry?
if you,
It's
okay,
Opal Song Tavern. Looking
no,
through
no,
it.
no, no, it's in Writers. It's in this
Oh,
server.
Writers Cafe.
Yeah, no, in the Writers Cafe. If you look in self-assigned roles, there is an extra role at the bottom that we made that's called, that is right here. If you react to it, that is it.
Oh, build the world as a server. Oh,
Yes, and it is so that you guys can get some extra help with, interacting with the world as a whole, and also interacting with world building as a whole.
got it.
Yes, indeed. And Oshitera is actually a world that you will be able to interact with, and I'm going to assume that Kitten is going to make an entire world based off of Oshitera.
Actually, what I did was, oh, I have Oshitera. I'm just gonna slap this over here at the edge and then build the rest of the world.
Yeah, do that. That's exactly. Listen, there are multiple different ways on building your worlds, actually, and I was going to get into this a little bit later, and I'll also talk about it here too. There are multiple different ways that you can go into your world. There is working from large to small, which is starting at like a broader scope, and then working down to smaller elements. There's small, large, where you're already on that small element, and you go big. There's story based if you have a technical story that you want to tell, and you want to go from along that way, along the story from beginning to end. As I told you guys, I wrote like the first level of like my Morsel Beltus campaign, and then the world grew like rapidly. Or you have the fourth one, which is character based, which is the base off of the my Sage world, which is where we based it off of Sage, and it grew from Sage. So there is multiple ways that you can do that. But chaotic, I keep calling chaotic. It's Chaotin writer, kind of goes into depth about what those things are. And I actually have that resource over here, as well as in the world building resources channel as well. So that can help you out a bit with that. Yeah, it says world building, where do you start? That video is 10 out of 10. The next person to go is Kyle.
I had one last thing I wanted to mention.
Go right ahead.
The last thing I just wanted to mention is that I made an entire race based off of this new MMO kind of coming out, Day of Dragons, and I was like, it's never gonna fit there. It's fun, but I also really like it because it's a historical sort of race. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna slot it here. It's called the Elder Nurse Dragon. They're historians. They don't want to interact with mortal races at all. They live very, very long lives. 500 is just a glimpse of a baby's life. But they live incredibly long lives. They take just random little bits and pieces of the genealogy and just slap it into their gene pool whenever they need to. And basically what happens is when they're born, they have a random piece from every single different race. So for instance, for elves, they could have very much longer lives. From tieflings, they could have fire resistance, etc., but they can only have one in each and every category.
That is interesting. Sorry, I had to turn on my fan for a little bit, but it's really loud, so I had to mute myself. But yeah, I agree. The next person is I'm gonna now put you on a spot, Lexi. It's now you. Go right ahead.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, so I answered the questions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, preferably.
So the so the first one I didn't really know how to answer it. Like, how'd your rule get like that? I didn't really know how to answer it because it's like one of those things where I just kind of assumed that it's I guess always been like that. I don't know, but like I don't know. I also don't have a name. I have like a working name, but I made it up on the spot because I looked at like a list of names and I was like, oh, so I have right now like Wakeland, which isn't I don't love, but I also don't hate it. I might use it for something else. Anyways, and for how is it different? I literally just wrote it's fantasy, bro, and so that's all I have for that. But for the history and the culture questions, I did a lot more like in depth kind of like answering. So I'm just gonna move on to those. And so for my history kind of thing, I wanted to do like I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever gonna write with this world, but I do like it as far as like a campaign aspect. So I might, if I ever get to the spot of like being a DM, I might use it for that. But for history and stuff, there's still work to be done in a way, in the sense that I don't know much about the world, so I don't know a lot of its history yet. Because I made it up on the spot, so that's where I'm at. And for the culture, I wanted to do like, I like a lot of like urban fantasy stuff, so I like stuff that's like set in like this kind of time period. But I kind of want it to be in the aspect where it's like, hold on, I'm thinking, hold on. I don't know the word. I'm moving on from that sentence. I forgot the word. So the aspect of like, it's like, I wrote it down, hold on. It's out of the box.
So, what's out of the box? Oh.
I want to know what's out of the box. Oh, okay.
What's in the box?
Right, so my culture thing. I just kind of wanted to do like kind of like modern day kind of city type thing, but also like because I like the technologies of like the aspect of technology and like in magic, like how that like works with each other. So I kind of wanted to do like an industrial period type thing, but like because of like how magic works and is, and it's like it's kind of like sped up to the point where we're at where we are today. But as far as time wise, they're back in like maybe, I don't know, Christopher Columbus like era type, like time wise at least, like as far as like the world's creation and stuff. But their like technology is like where we are today, and so I kind of want to do that. And like I I didn't have anything like, you know, insightful to say, so I was like, imagine like a dude in like a Goku drip, but also he's like pushing a wheelbarrow, like something like that. I just have a lot of words. I don't have a lot of like concepts yet. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh. I think that'd be sick. I love shit like that. Ooh, excuse me, French. Okay. Okay. Bit.
I'll pass. I'm in the middle of work.
So, uh, I am a history nerd. So my world was based on the ugly parts and the ugly, and what's called Medicine would be based on like fairy tale. And the three things that make the world different from our own, of course, the obvious magic exists. However, legit, if you know magic, you are basically a celebrity in some type of way. You are famous. You have social status. You have wealth. You have power.
Okay.
Social status is very dictated by whether or not you know magic and how old the magic you know is, and how what you do with it. Like take
Okay.
Ursula from The Little Mermaid. she would be very, very popular because of the fact she works in the way like a hag, where she will give you what you want, regardless of whether or not you pay a price. But the fact that she can give you what you want makes her very sought after, very powerful, status-wise.
Interesting.
The second thing is a lot of the organic, a lot of the fauna of the world is not real. It's not organic. My idea for Walt Disney as a character, being, deity, or what have you in this world is that he started out with good intentions. However, those good intentions did not end up being so well received, and he kind of twisted himself into this dictator, tyrant, deity, powerful artificer slash wizard. And he created a lot of sentient automaton animals to populate his, because he thought real animals were maybe nice, but he wanted control. So if you encounter fauna there, if you encounter any animals there, if you see them looking realistic, they're not. They're automatic machines, dummies, doll, disguised with illusion. And the third thing was the geography of at least the what I would consider the capital city. The geography changes on a whim. Like, let's just say you're on like the east side of on the country, and it's a coast. Like, you're by beach. You go to sleep the next day, you're near a jungle or forest. Like, the geography change seemingly at random. It is not fixed.
Okay.
And that, of course, has a lot of implications as to who's living around at the time of the first shift, and like subsequent shifts after, how culture changes because of the shifts. I haven't gotten into that part yet, but that's where I want to.
I mean, you still got some good parts either way. Like, I'm sorry, but you did good. That's a lot of information. That's some good information. And by the way, when I say that someone does good or someone does great, don't try to take that personally, Lexi. Because I know how some of your brains work, Lexi. And
Whoa!
and you know, I want you all to understand that all of your things that you've done is great. The amount of work that you've even got done today is phenomenal. And I cannot wait to see what you guys get into in the next 12 weeks, because it's going to be so amazing. I promise you. Lexi.
Hello, dog! What did I do?
What did I
You have a history. You have a history, apparently.
No, it's just that, Lexi, I'm not putting on blast, but I also know that that you are a person that'll be like, is my work good? And I'm like, yes, it is. And you're like,
maybe I am.
Are
maybe
you?
I am.
Am I sure my work is good? It's like, Lexi, it's good. No, because I was minding my own business.
Now, for the last 30 minutes of the stream, Regina's going to be throwing us homework after homework after homework.
Absolutely, I will.
I mean, myself and Zaharka still have ours.
Oh yeah, we're not done yet. I'm not done yet at all. I'm gonna let Spartan.
Just wanted to make sure.
Nah, yeah. Spartan, you have a 1 page, and we have 30 minutes left. I'm going to ask you to cut your shift short.
2 pages.
Oh no, yeah, you're not. You're gonna pick 3 out of there. I'm sorry, bestie, but you're gonna have to pick 3 because we have time, and I have to still talk about the next episode.
What would you guys prefer for me to talk about? Because again, I have like 2 pages here, and then I also have the 20-something pages from the previous time. Because I've technically been working on this game since July of last year.
I'll say this: you get 6 sentences.
I would like you to ask me the questions then, because there's plenty here,
right.
and they're
I will ask you the questions. How did your world get like that?
This world is actually an alien world. Our original Earth world has we have left it for some reason. It's never written down because this technology has been lost due to us crash landing on it. This world has always existed as such. It's even had a similar history to our modern world in the sense of there was a technological boom. There was the ability to sail at certain points in time and certain things like that. Like we can actually record certain beats in historical moments of this is where a trade happened and this was a really big war and stuff like that. So it's pretty similar to our world.
Okay. All right. Second question. What do your life forms look like?
All kinds of different ways. The biggest thing, and the main reason why I wanted to build this game, is the fact that a 6-foot-tall human is comparatively 10 centimeters tall in this world. Essentially means that everything is going to be giant according to human life forms. The native life forms are quite varied according to where they've come from, their culture, and that sort of thing. Some of them look pretty human-like, but have gills. Some of them have 4 arms and thus have elongated torsos. Some of them were born to fly. Some of them were born in the ocean. Some of them have the ability to alter their shape, alter their size, speak with fire, that sort of thing.
Okay, perfect. I think that's 3.
That was 2.
No, yes, it was 2. And pick a culture in your world and explain to us about it.
I guess I could talk about our human culture because in this game, it technically takes place in the future, aka humans have developed interstellar transport. They flew in, found a world to live in, crash landed, and lost much of their technology and culture. Although that in particular has been trying their best to recover and restore and find because, well, that's what you do when you're in a foreign land. You try to hold on to your own culture. When the crash happened, it was around the early 1800s in accordance to this world. I drew that inspiration from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints being founded in 1830 and sort of just builds the timeline from that point. That means that human culture is sort of divided in the sense of we either interact with the natives who are over 16 to 20 times our height, or we keep to ourselves. And of course, it wasn't just one ship that fell, it was a multitude of ships from different cultures, which means that cultures will either start to blend or adapt anyway because of the different environment that they've lived in. Some human cultures are going to interact a little better with the native cultures. Some people are going to build gated communities and try their best to be like, oh yeah, we are human, we are our own thing, and we will do nothing with those people. And yeah, I could go on a little longer, but I'll let people go.
All right. I saw some questions in No Mic that were coming up, and that's what I was actually looking at. No, you're good. One thing, you guys, are saying the map makers we will use. I love you, Mikey. Yes and no. I will not be directly using that one in particular, but that is on the list. If you all look in, Worldbuilding Wednesdays resources and you scroll up, I actually have 4 particular, links that we'll be using for world maps, and if you want to make a planet-sized galaxy map, we have those as well. So, to answer this question, and I'll just post it again there so it'll be lost to the ether. Is there a link we can use? We will be using all of these links. I can only show 3 of the 4 links for the first 3, but I am going to be using the first and the 4th one. I usually use the 3rd, but the 3rd one is not necessary. This time at least. And the last, but certainly not least, Czar.
Maybe least. I kind of struggled to come up with anything.
Just give us what you have. It's fine.
I helped you. I tried to help you.
You
Were you to
try to help. I spent almost the entire time like just mulling and turning around the. They were interesting ideas, and I turned them around in my head, but none of them like really grabbed me, got me in that like developing mode. I do have like something, but the issue is it's not really repeatable, because I kind of turned to my own predicament of not being able to come up with anything and use that to come up with something. So I have this is grabbing me a bit. It's a world where people cannot grow on their own. They must eat others to gain skills and ideas. The entire world is like cursed.
Okay, that's really cool. That's a really cool one.
There's
How do you hype yourself up like that? How do you like, it's the least. Yo, you have to eat other people to survive and gain skills. That is phenomenal. I'm sorry.
Issue is I can't repeat that, alright? That idea.
No, you can absolutely repeat that. Like, I want to play in this world. I want to learn more about it.
I mean, I can't make a different world.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Well,
you feel like you can't expand on this world?
No, I can. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Since I turned to my own struggle at trying to come up with ideas for the inspiration for this, it's like I can't do it again. Or, yeah.
Well, how about this? Along in our journey of doing this entire thing, as you already talked with me about, we will be giving you prompts and stuff for everything of the sort. So it's not going to be sorry I'm late, buddy.
Okay.
Rose Fang. I don't know.
Some of the things I'm
That's
like
fine.
imagining from this, like the self prompt, is I'm imagining like environments in terms of extremes. Like you have overgrown jungle or just barren wasteland. You have maybe some people are exempt from this curse, right? They are able to grow and live on their own, but they're not gonna have a very fun fate. Like just based on how the economy, well, not like actual economy, but like the idea economy of this world operates.
Yeah.
I don't think it might not be like a physical eat. It might be like more of a eat someone's. You consume their life force or their essence. In a way, I imagine these like these withered husks of what used to be sentient creatures, and they're just like animalistic, and they run around in packs. I don't know. Could be interesting.
I think it can absolutely be interesting. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. You should not underestimate yourself when it comes to the stuff that you have, because that concept already just sounds amazing.
I mean,
and
J.K. Rowling made millions off of her world, so
I'm
assuming
it's
that...
lackluster. So
yeah,
yeah, but yeah, that concludes what we have. And
actually, sorry, you skipped me. I'm okay on skipping if you are short on time.
No. I thought I got you. I got Kitten and I got Mike and Mikey. I'm so sorry.
I went from Kitten to French Vanilla, and then you went to Mike.
That's what happened. I'm very sorry. You go.
It's okay. I won't take much of your time either. So, the world I'm gonna be presenting is a pet project of mine. Is the world of Yashnar. I inspired myself on a book that is on Kickstarter right now, The Delver's Guide to Beastworld, and so a lot of my ideas come from the premise of the book. So I didn't really answer the questions that were on the board. I went for a more free approach. So I said that the people of my world are anthropomorphic animals. They are all faces, on quotes, are variations of animals with humanoid anatomy and intelligence.
Okay.
The arcane arts are from mundane to scarce depending on the region of the world. Magic exists and is capable of great feats in the right hands. The source of this wonder are the ethereal ley lines that traverse the skies, like spectral veins coursing blood. And finally, freelancers, that I call them, are viewed as potential heroes or blooming villains, the commoners of the lands. To look at these people with
Hi, Theo, welcome
skepticism
back.
due to their broad moral compasses. The mercenaries, in a way, take up any kind of paying job and can be very lucrative due to lost treasures, but the choices made to reach said treasures may impact the ordinary lives of others.
Okay. That's awesome. Really cool. I can't wait to see how that world fleshes out itself. That's gonna be so fucking awesome. Straight up, hands down, awesome.
I'm looking forward to graduation day, Jeepers.
Oh, yo, no, me too. I'm excited to see what people's worlds are gonna look like and how they're gonna evolve and flourish and come through, and come on together. And even the person who's watching this, watching the VOD later on, is going to have that same thing. You will have a world, and it will grow onto it all. Okay, but yeah, I'm very, very excited. No, it's fine. I'm gonna read out. He was saying that Zar was explaining how, like, the issue that he was having is that he couldn't. It's really hard for him to come up with a seed to create a world's premise. And honestly, that's perfectly fine. We're gonna go through that in this class and go over how do we get there and how do we get to that place through prompts. And I'll make some prompts up over the course of the week and throw some at you on by next week. So you'll have that. And honestly, we made it time. We have 15 minutes to spare. And honestly, I'm going to let you guys go up free soon. Just in a second, though. That is the end of the very first episode and the introduction to Worldbuilding Wednesdays. So next Wednesday, what we're going to be dealing with is the first section of the world building, which is, as I said before, the section on... Hold up.
Land.
If I could find it, yeah. Is the section on land.
Yeah, the second one's land.
Oh my god, I'm trying to click on it.
All that land.
Yeah, it's going to be land.
All that
and
nice American soil. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's where we're going to start with the first 6. We're making 6 to 8 countries, and also making things like stuff on the line of like how we're gonna get those countries to look and how they're gonna like be sectioned off and go from there. I'm gonna do 8 countries, and I think I've already told you guys I'm gonna do 8 countries, and you guys can choose whether you want to do 6 or 8 or whatever you want to go from there.
Something that Story and I were talking about. I'm not one of those people that. I'm one of those people who likes to dig deep into something instead of expanding a hole. Like,
yes, I did see that earlier.
Deep into it, aka I get a city and I develop that one city, as well as all the things that have like poured into the city or are interacting with the city and that sort of thing. But as soon as I'm supposed to like build a country, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get a little overwhelmed with it. Building 6 entire countries.
I will say this.
Okay.
If you think you are better at just building a city, I will talk about building a city on the day after. But, as I said before, I know you're gonna hate me, guys. The reading that we're going to go over is the land reading. Now, if you look in the Cobalt's World Guide,
Page 41.
Page 41. And I'm going to pull it up on stream so it's easier for everyone.
World building a device for a professional mapper.
Here be dragons, and it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages.
It's only 8 pages, guys.
It is 40. It's page 41 to 48. So 7 pages. 7.5 pages. 6.5 pages. Nothing too much. I tried to give you guys the least possible, and this article is by Jonathan Roberts, and it is talking about essentially how to excuse me, how to build your world on a world map and how we get to that part. And I think, and I looked over this one, it's just like actually has like really good information about how you can do this, and even how, like, I give you an example of how to sketch out your countries, how do you add mountains, adding rivers and climate, and finding geological like touches. And so sorry. And sort of talking about stuff like that. Now, how we're going to do this though next week is, first, what we are doing is we are going to talk about how we're going to do this next week is we are going to first talk about the reading. What did you pull from it? You're going to give us like about like 2 or so ideas of what you pulled from this. So like read land. Here, I'm going to do this instead. I just realized I know what to do. I'm going to make this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make an entire slide. Welcome.
Hello, Theo.
Welcome back, Theo. Page 40 to 41 of the Cobalt Guide to World Building. And then I'm going to say, read over the article and pull 3 ideas that you got from the article to talk about in class. Yep. Here we go. And we're going to talk about this at the beginning of class first, and then from here, and I'll put it on screen like this, and then from here, what we're going to then look at is more resources that are from this resource. So we're going to actually, because I like you guys and I gave you a lot of stuff to read, because 7 pages is totally a lot of stuff to read, I have blessed you with 3rd grade geography essay, which is literally just talking about the different land masses and things like that.
I know how to read a map. It's just creating that map. I can describe a map, drawing that map.
Yes, and we're going to actually break it down. There are multiple ways to make a for example, making a landmass is hard as fuck. For you in particular though,
There's a YouTuber reference that you can always refer to.
Huh?
There's a YouTuber that talks all about maps and reference world building references.
Yeah. I have those too, because we also have the world building resources, which is where all of the stuff that will be talked about in this entire course will be in, and then at the end of the entire class, I will be releasing my information that I had in here, that I have for the curriculum side of everything. But yes. And honestly, I think that concludes the first episode. We did it! We fucking did it, man! How do you guys feel?
Tired.
Yeah.
That was neat.
Man, can I pull a northern and southern hemisphere instead of doing directly 23 continents on the same exact map?
Sure.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. You do not have to do that. And I have everything for you guys. I'm going to show you how to use the stuff. I even have, like, I actually put, like, a thing up here as well that you can even see as, like, a little nod to next week. It'll be up here the entire time. But yes, that, my friends, is what concludes this thing. Also, if you, yes, I know you're talking about West 20.
Yeah,
I remember you.
just with them.
Yes, absolutely. I remember. Yeah. And that is what concludes Worldbuilding Wednesdays, and you have to sign the rain in the background. You know what, fuck it. I'm gonna change the rain. I'm gonna
I
make
have
it.
an observation I'd like to add before, like, things end.
Yeah?
So, and this could probably be elaborated on. So while I was, like, thinking over, like, what the ideas that Spartan gave me, I found myself thinking, you know, I don't think this is worth enough effort to build an entire world around, but this could fit really well if I dedicated a section of a pre-existing world to this idea.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this noir city, or, like, you know, that was, like, something that was kind of coming up. I was like, hey, this could work really well in an existing world.
Remember, we're not going to just talk about making entire countries. We're going to be discussing how to make even mini cities inside those countries. Like, for example, I have a world in Morsobiltis that I can actually talk about. I have a city in Morsobiltis that is a port city, and a lot of my players in the in Morsobiltis campaign go to port cities because they're traveling via the sea. But in this particular port city, their economy is solely based off of the church. And if you know anything, that's bad.
Not necessarily. It depends on the church.
Yeah. Not when this church
Because
legitimately...
most churches that get into power want to stay in power and manipulate and do all that kind of jazz.
Exactly.
However, if it's a good church that really does not want to have power or manipulate or do anything like that, it can actually be a whole lot better than most governments. There are historical moments of that sort.
True.
As well.
But in this particular town, this church owns the money supply. And owns the idea of getting loans. So that's like a big issue. But we'll talk about those more in detail about how you can make that world be like this grand scale of things. So it's easier for you guys to discuss. And I think rolling up on the 3rd hour, my friends, that is the end of the first introduction to world building. And next time you'll learn how to make something on the lines of if it loads, it's gonna kill me. Oh no, stream is dying because I'm loading incarnate.
You've been streaming for 5 hours, so...
Oh, it's only 3. It's not that bad.
Oh, well, it says 5 hours beside the 10 for watching.
That's 3 for me.
Yeah, mine says
5 for me, then.
it says 3 hours and 2 minutes. Yeah.
Mine says 5 hours and 4 minutes.
I was working on this little thing that everyone can see. I was working on a little map like this. I still got to get some basic stuff out of it, but we're going to be able to work some stuff like this. At least the landmass side of it, and I just added a few mountain ranges and stuff like that.
I find land masses to be extremely easy, just because it's just like, okay, let's put this shape go where the water's always going to flow downhill, so we're going to have these mountains go and then we're going to put some lakes right here, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Developing multiple different cultures of multiple different species and trying to decide how many of them mix, how many of them don't, as well as where are the borders and where's the history of those borders and stuff like that.
I'm gonna also say too, just really, in worst part of it, right? Even though, to my knowledge, I hate drawing. Okay, I see what you're doing. I'm going to say, and also you are going to get help. I'm going to be helping you every step of the way. We are learning together, and I am teaching together as much as possible. But also, to add to that, before what they were saying, land masses are easy and also hard. Because I'll have things like little creepy things like that. A little doop. And it is easy, but I'm going to teach you guys how to make it in a program that is a lot easy to deal with, and then just transfer it over here. Yeah, I'm helping out everyone every step of the way, as much as I can. And I'm going to end it there, because I'm realizing that I'm going over time. But it was really nice to talk to everyone today. I cannot wait until next week. We're going to learn how to make maps like this, and actually work on maps. Is everyone ready for map making? Everyone excited?
I had a friend who specifically went to college for map making and stuff like that. He'd talk to me about it, and I'd look at him and be like, I could barely do this. That is amazing. Good luck.
Yep.
It's really important in writing video games and movies, and like it's essentially anytime you create a fictional world, maps are important because you need to be like, okay, here's how this connects to this and this connects to that.
Yep. Because in the next
at the same time, it's very tedious to work with, especially when you're not artistically when you're artistically challenged like myself, because I can say, oh, that country goes here, so this is how the interactions work, like I'm doing in my Saturday session.
Yeah.
But as for a map, I only have a map of the area where the players are playing. I'm not planning for them to leave the country, although if they do, I will plan around that. So, Marcina, if you want to go do that, be a chaotic little gremlin. Yeah.
As always. No, because then we're going to talk about how, like I said, we're going to talk about where cities, towns, and villages and other landmarks in your world are going to be. So, when we talk about those things and you see them, you're going to see, like, for example, what is the difference between a metropolis, a city, a town, a village, and a hamlet? And we'll talk about what those entail. Then we'll look at, along with landforms, we'll look at, okay, if I'm going to place a city near something, it should be near a body of water, because that's how that city would become bigger, because they have a source of water, and so on and so forth. But that is where I will be ending it. It is nice for everyone to join us. And
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you you're quite welcome. I wanted to do this for a while because I realized that there's not a lot of resources online for people. Like, yeah, there's videos, and there's like series and shit. Like, you know, they have those things. But I wanted something that was like, here is you sitting down in an area for 3 hours working on something. And you actually have the time to work on that thing. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So, have a good day, guys. And I hope everyone has a good time. And
you as well. Thank you.
Likewise.
Oh no. And end the stream.
There's also Worldbuilding Stack Exchange, where if you have a predicament, you could just ask on there, and it's like, hey, someone will help you with it.
Absolutely, that
too.
too.
As before.
And stop streaming.